Yeah, I'm back.
Big Sook is back, guys. How about that?
And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not going to say it's good to be back, but, it's all right.
That's what Buck said when he came back.
Yeah, it's like,
Buck is back.
Yeah.
Did you know he was gone?
We were all gone for a moment, right?
Yeah. Well, I was still here, but gone.
Yeah.
But there were 3 days that none of the three of us were here.
Yeah. Well, it's like we do that from time to time so that people appreciate us.
Oh, that's what we do? Yeah.
Or
absence makes the heart grow fonder, that sort of thing.
Or it works the other way, and they're like, God, why are those guys even on? I like these other guys better.
They're back. Well, TS, tethered swimming, we're back. Deal with it.
Tethered swimming.
Yeah. That's an old Simpsons line.
Oh.
Instead of TS, tough, it's tethered swimming. It's
I got you.
One of those bits.
Well, how was beautiful and sunny St. Lucia?
It is pretty nice. The low while we were there was, at night, 75 degrees. During the day, it was about 88, 89. At night, nice breezy 75. This is the first time I've worn sleeves or pants in 2 weeks.
Well, but we were talking about this yesterday. You are walking back in at the right time.
Yeah, I guess it was like piss and rain the entire time I was gone.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And now I'm back, and it's like going to be in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, and maybe even the 90s.
Tasty.
On Friday.
Well, it'll be a dry 90s. It is very humid down there. I will say there were definitely some hikes and some days where we were cruising around where it was
hikes.
It was hot. A lot of hikes. I can't say a lot of hikes. Some hikes.
Do you speak Creole now?
No. In fact, not only do I not speak Creole, but boy, it's like going to the northern part of Scotland. Everyone's speaking English, but
it's not very. It's like Creole English. Is it like Ed Orgeron?
No, it's like Jamaica. Yaman.
Oh,
a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Caribbean. I mean, they do speak Creole. Their main language is English, but it is with a just think if you're doing a bad Bob Marley impression, a lot of that, and you feel like such a douche because they're speaking English, but boy, you just do it, huh? What? And then eventually you just smile and you're like, yeah, that.
Well, we read that the country of St. Lucia.
Yes.
Which has 15 islands. Did you know that?
15?
Well, that's what internet said.
I did not know they had 15. There were a couple little outskirts, but I didn't know that there was 15.
Apparently. That changed hands between the British and the French 14 times.
Yes, we did. We went on a little tour, and the drivers were talking about it. So everything is named in French, but they're the last one, and they still technically are part of the British Commonwealth, even though they're independent. So yeah, there's a whole history there, back and forth, and it was. So
a lot
of fun.
They have a big French influence.
Yes,
but
huge
they
French.
also have a big British influence.
I would say the naming and the history more French, but the stuff that has left a lasting impact on how society is run is British.
Yeah, because they said the Queen is the head cheese there. Did you know that?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
yeah, they're part of the British.
I mean, the Queen died.
Yes,
so
I guess it'd be technically the king.
The king.
Now. Yeah,
but
there's
that's like the supreme ruler of the land.
Well, and there's like
they've probably never even heard of it.
They have a prime minister, and they have a British. He's like the British. He's from there, but he's the British president. It's a whole thing.
Is it Tony Blair?
I don't think
it's the great Tony Blair.
It was somewhat convoluted, but I will tell you this:
Tony Blair.
2 things that I learned. Well, 3 things. St. Lucia. 1, it's expensive.
Oh, it is.
It's
really.
It's expensive. Like
well, they got you by the balls because I mean, where are you going to go? Another island? Yeah, good luck with that. That'll be $15.
So it's kind of expensive, and like you can't drive there. It's nightmare fuel. There's one road.
Well, it's an island, so it'd be hard to drive there.
Well, no, I'm just saying on the island.
Drive around.
There's one road. No one lives in the middle of the country, right? It's just the middle of the country is just mountains and rainforests.
Yeah.
So it's just there's one road around the country, super hilly up and down, every blind corner known to man. The roads were built like in the 1700s, so they're not even big enough for 2 cars to pass. There's ditches or mountains on like a mountain slide on each side, and everyone there drives like a GD maniac. And I was going to rent a car, and then about a day or 2 in, I was like, and no. And everyone knows that. And so let me tell you what, your biggest expenditure is cabs, and they've got you. So to go like the little town we stayed in. We stayed in the south for like 5 days and then in the north for 6. And so the south is like rural. There's no cities. It's just very country. Think like eco resorts, rainforest type stuff. To get from our little eco resort into town was, I don't know, let's say like an 8 to 9 minute drive. There and back, that's $50 US. Yeah, there's
So kids, how bad do you want to go?
But I will say this. It is known as the best party island in the Caribbean.
Oh.
That did not disappoint. Everything they do is a party, and I mean everything. And it is the nicest. I thought the Canadians, everyone's like, oh, the Canadians are the nicest people. No, that is the nicest group of human beings I've ever encountered in my entire life. We ended up hanging out or partying with 5 separate cab drivers that we had. You just end up with them at bars. To one extent, we got a ride from someone there and back. So we were with them for maybe 15, 20 minutes total. Like 4 days later on the other side of the island, I'm walking and I hear, Jason, not what you're expecting. And I turn around and I was like, he goes, hey, it's your driver from the other day. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man?
Is he an American guy?
No. It's just an islander. And name was Rick. And next thing I know,
Rick,
the BTJ, and one of Rick's buddies, we're old bar friends. We're bellied up, buying each other drinks, and that went on for about 4 hours.
Fantastic.
The nicest human beings ever. So it was a blast.
Do you think that they must like the Americans?
Yeah, well, it's all tourism.
Or they want you to pay for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, the entire country it's based on tourism.
Yeah, so when they see you at a bar, they're like, oh, maybe this guy will buy me a drink.
But they were buying me drinks.
Were they?
Yeah, and I was like, no, please, like, and it went back
I'm a
and
rich
forth.
American, let me buy.
Just generally speaking, it was the nicest, and they just kept saying that, like, the places, because we didn't really do the resort thing. We just kind of wandered around the cities, and I can definitely see where people would be uncomfortable walking around. It's a poor island. It's not well lit or anything. It's not like some of these cities have nice houses. And we were just told time and time again, don't worry about it. You're completely safe. And not one time did I feel jammed up. In fact, wherever we went, there were just people that were trying to invite you into their homes, trying to invite you into bars, point out things to go. It just...
With no catch?
No.
What the hell's going on down there?
Yeah, they're like, hey, you want to come over? My mom's cooking. You're like, what? Yeah, okay. You're at a bar. Next thing you know, someone's got their arm around you. And that was my first thought was, all right, it's the tourist thing. And you're like, no. They're nice and they just want to hang out. It is the nicest.
They're bored.
It's just the nicest people. And it was a great trip.
Did you catch the inside of a prison at all?
I did not catch the inside of a prison.
Okay.
No.
We were
Well,
wondering.
and let me just say this. The police force there, so
not that intimidating?
Well, no. So this is a hand to God truth. So we were sitting with Rick, one of the drivers, and most of the people there had not really been off the island and didn't really have a desire to leave the island. The United States
ever?
Yeah, Rick was one of the few people, like most of the people were like, yeah, I've left the island once and I went to New York. I didn't like it and I came back. It's not like there's this big push for them to get to the United States. They love where they're at. But
rightly so.
Yeah, we were talking to Rick, and Rick spent 3.5, 4 years in Florida. He moved to Florida and moved back. One of the reasons he moved back, he didn't like the cops. It bothered him. One, he didn't like that the cops were sneaky. He's like, hey man, it's ridiculous. I'm going home at night and they're setting traps. They're hiding under bridges. He's like, what is this? He's like, you have 4 or 5 drinks and next thing you know, I'm in trouble. He's like, you get pulled over here. The only thing that'll happen, he goes, the cop wants to have some of your beer. It's very, the island vibe of just mind your own business is.
Yeah. Just don't do anything stupid.
I've never seen it more prevalent than on that island.
That's great.
The entire time I was there, I think I saw 2 cops and one of them was drinking at a street party where we were at.
And they're like in uniform?
Kinda. Yeah, there was
What, like a Tommy Bahama shirt or something?
Uniform's a strong term for it. He had
Well, there's probably not a lot of crime there.
Khakis and a jaunty hat?
he had a vest like a security vest on that just said police. But he was drinking Bounty rum and Coke at the street party we were at. He wasn't putting off a real authoritarian vibe, you know?
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Cuisine?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of fantastic?
Every kind of seafood that you can imagine, except shrimp, which was disappointing because that's my favorite. No shrimp down there, so the shrimp is ridiculously expensive because it has to be imported.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with the beef. The beef and shrimp are tough because it has to be imported. They don't have it there, but chicken, every kind of fish, every other kind of seafood. They're known for their fish and their pork. So I had every kind of fish and every kind of pork you can imagine, and it was fantastic. All the fresh fruit and everything was either locally caught, locally grown, and it was just great. One of our best meals, because we were like, we don't want to do the resort food. Like, we're asking the locals, where do you go? And a lot of them were just eating at home. They're like, no, we make our food. We don't eat out a lot. So some people were like, hey, just come over and eat at my house. But someone said, hey, go to Island Chef. There's this guy named Speedo, and he's called the Island Chef. They're like, you want to go there? It's in this middle of this little town, and it's just like a shack kind of thing. But they said, call ahead because he doesn't show up unless you call. So I guess if you call, and they're like, I would like you to make me dinner. He's like, okay. And so he shows up, he opens up the thing, and there's no menu. You choose either vegetarian or fish. That's it. And then he just cooks for you. So there's no menu. He cooks what he wants. And then like music's blaring in his little shack. If you want drinks or whatever, you just walk into the kitchen and take them. It's like eating at a buddy's house. And then he comes out and he's like, hey, this is served with love. And he just gives it to you. And like on these little plastic tables and chairs right on the water. And it was amazing.
And you don't pay for it?
Oh, no, you pay for it. Yeah. It was like $25-$30.
Okay.
So I got some mahi-mahi, and the BTJ got kingfish. And again, you're like, I just want the fish. He's like, okay, you're getting this, here it is. And it was
so you just say fish and you don't know what type of fish you're getting?
Yeah. Yeah. And just,
he just makes whatever.
He just makes whatever and is like, here.
Yeah,
and then
that's great.
Yeah, so you just have to call ahead because you never know when he's going to.
So he probably like lives upstairs and is all wasted and baked and he's like, yeah, all right, man.
He just kind of came down and he's like,
throws on some flip flops and
no shirt
and a what do you call it, like a
no, he
chef's
no, this was like swim trunks, no shirt, some sweet dreadlocks, and like kind of like a Panama sort of hat, and had one rolling. You know, that's the other one too, is that lot of weed. That's they're very proud of.
Will you ever go back there?
Yeah, I would 100% go back. Yeah. But there's so many.
Yeah,
there's so many islands. So we were talking. Yeah, and so it's like I think there's 22 separate saints. That. And I would love to go back. It's one of those, like, do you go back or do you go
try another one?
Now,
is St. Bart's different than St. Lucia, which is different than...
Yeah, we were talking, and all of them have their own different vibe, but I guess that St. Lucia is two things. One, the friendly people, and it's a party. Like, if you want to party and you want to have and I'm telling you, everywhere you go, it is a party. What are we doing Tuesday night? Oh, we're going to have a party. The big party's on Friday. You're like, oh, yeah, but we're going to party Wednesday too. But don't worry, if the Friday one is where you really want, like they have it's like a street block party that they do every Friday night, every Friday. And it is like everyone from the island congregates to like this like 6-block area, and it's just Thunderdome.
That's great.
And it goes till 3 a.m, and then it ends, and then at 3 a.m., then they go to the next town over, and that's where the after party goes on, and that goes till 6.
Okay.
But I think in order to go to that, I think you have to partake in a pick-me-up, which is also readily available.
That is called the island life, bro.
Yes.
Community.
Yes. That is the...
Like, I could think of nothing worse than just, like, every Friday on our street, everybody just piles out and parties together. Yeah. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. And also, they're kind of getting riled up like 4 or 5 other nights, too.
Yeah.
But
like, would you want that? Like, that's a whole different vibe, man.
I didn't see one. There was no fights. There was no... It just... everyone's just is smiling and laughing and having a good time. It is of all the places I've been that quote have the island vibe. I've never had a more islandy vibe than what was happening on St. Lucia.
Okay.
It was great times.
All right. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
You didn't miss a damn thing.
Well, I was trying to keep abreast of it, see what was going on.
You missed nothing. The only thing you missed is that before you left, it was some dumbass on the radio was saying, "Oh, fast forward to Denver and Boston."
Whoops.
Well, now that you're back, it's fast forward to Minnesota and Boston.
Well, the second resort we stayed at, that was in the more developed part, they had the NBA and NHL on their bar every night. So I did get to see quite a bit in between my rum hazes. I did get to watch quite a bit of American sports. Also, big cricket down there. A lot of Indians on the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't understand cricket, but I was explaining to people hockey, and they were everyone knew basketball, but I explained hockey, and they were trying to explain to me cricket, and I'm not sure who was more confused.
Is cricket the one where they pitch?
They bowl.
But it's kind of like pitching, like they're pitching.
Yeah, but
they call it bowling.
Yeah, they run and
the ball's small, and then they have the bat.
Yeah, the paddle. Yeah.
Paddle.
Yeah, it's like a paddle, and then you're trying to knock over like the wickets, and you can hit it any 360 degrees, and there's overs, and I don't know.
You can hit it over the wall, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
But then the guy can go over the wall and catch it over the wall or something.
It was but now it's just
Let's learn about cricket. Let's do a show on cricket. You want to do that?
I was
it's a very popular sport.
Yes, I was quite inebriated, and at one point I probably spent an hour talking to this gentleman, and we just went back and forth asking questions about hockey and cricket, and we just kept drinking, and then it was actually quite fun, but at the end of it, I'm not certain that either one of us had learned
a thing.
No.
Yeah.
No. But we had a good time.
Wait, so you're saying there's a red line and a blue line and a green line?
There was definitely some of that where I was like, I do not get how you follow this.
And wait, they're on skates? What?
Yeah. The idea of an ice rink in St. Lucia is
what?
Yeah, it's a little.
That's frozen water?
It's a little hard for them to grasp.
Can they fall through it?
Yeah.
All right, well.
Great times.
Great times in St. Lucia. You're back just in time for I mean, the draft lottery? I don't know.
Well, the NHL draft lottery.
That was last night.
My Sharks.
Yeah, the Sharks got the #1 pick, if you didn't see.
Oh, I saw.
And they're going to take one of Ryan Buckley's close personal friends.
Oh, yeah. He's the son of the Golden State Warriors trainer, which I'm sure Buck committed some sort of felony with in their weird Golden State
I
days.
shared this with Isaac yesterday. Macklin Celebrini expected to be the #1 overall pick. His dad, Rich, the Warriors trainer. I've never met Rich, though.
Wait, you've never met the Warriors trainer?
No.
I thought you were like big Warrior guy. Like
he was not. He was not the main trainer when I was covering the team.
Oh.
He's new.
Oh,
Ish.
okay. I thought that's where the connection.
Well, so there's no connection.
No, none whatsoever. Although he's a rich guy too, so he's probably hanging out with Buckley's
Rich?
dad.
Rich is rich?
Rich is rich.
The trainer guy's rich?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Really?
I bet he makes a pretty penny.
What's the trainer of a NBA team make?
Well, he's like a big deal, and he was like Steve Nash's personal trainer. I'll bet you he's making $600,000 to $700,000 a year.
That's good dough.
I think he's doing good.
That's good dough, bro.
Yeah. But his
All right.
kid's the by far the #1 guy. And how about this? My Portland Winterhawks in the Western Conference. Well, not Western Conference. The Western Hockey League Finals.
Yeah, we've been reporting that to the people.
Go Hawks, baby!
It would be nice if they would put it on TV for us to watch it.
I'm seeing here that head trainers make around $200,000 to $235,000.
I'm guessing he makes a bit more.
I don't know. You may be wrong.
And assistants in the $60,000 range.
Okay. Wonder what Steve. But yeah, interesting.
All right, let's get started. We've got a poll question. It's ready to go for you, and we're going to disseminate it next on The Fan. Isachi. All right, Soup's back. Buck's back. Everybody's back. We're all back.
Let's go.
Until we leave again.
Yeah.
Here's the poll question. It is on X at 1080 The Fan, brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling, a family business helping families for over 60 years. AAAIAQ.com. Yesterday, we asked you which team will win the NBA Finals this year. And 45% of you said Boston. 44% of you said Minnesota. 8% of you said Oklahoma City. And 3% of you said Dallas.
I'll tell you what, Minnesota and Oklahoma City, especially Minnesota, are taking that whole too young, no experience thing, and they're turning that sideways and cramming it in people.
Oklahoma City looked good last night.
Yeah, they look great. And then, I mean, Minnesota is just bitch slapped Denver, who looks uninterested, and I know they're beat up, but I mean, someone forgot to tell Minnesota that that's the defending champs and they should be intimidated by them.
Today, here is the question. What should the Blazers do with Chauncey Billups? 3 options for you. Try one more year, extend him, or replace him. Vote. Vote hard.
I love today that I forget who had it.
Chris Mannix.
Yeah, Chris Mannix.
That's what prompted the poll question.
It was
because otherwise I had forgotten about Chauncey Billups. Like, why are we even talking about?
I saw that they weren't renewing the contract of a couple staff members, including his brother.
Yeah.
So people were like, yeah. But I love that Mannix floated out there. Several NBA teams are keeping an eye on this because, with not renewing the contract, could Chauncey Billups be fired? And if he does, what? What many? You want to talk about an idea being floated by the Billups camp? Blazers, just know if you let go of me, there's many other options. What, teams are beating down the door for Chauncey Billups?
Why would the Blazers care?
Yeah, it's like, I don't.
Dude, he wins like 32% of his games.
Yeah, and look, and the one thing I'll say about Chauncey is the players like him, but what does that mean? Like, I'm still not exactly certain what their offense or defense is supposed to be. He gets the guys to play hard. I'll give him that. But this idea that somehow Chauncey Billups has earned like some sort of great street cred where other NBA teams are waiting with bated breath to see if he hits the market. That's clearly the Chauncey camp floating that, hey, can you put that out there that, if I am let go, many teams interested.
Well, I think a lot of Blazer fans would be happy to hear that many teams are interested, although I don't know that many teams are. There are only 3 teams that need a coach. Yeah. One is the Lakers. They're not going to hire Chauncey.
I would not think so.
The other is Charlotte and then Washington.
Yeah. I mean,
those are bad programs.
The only thing I'll say to the Chauncey Billups in defense of him, I have no idea if he can coach because, one, his roster sucks. The roster has been injured the entire time, and the mission is not to win games. So I don't know. To sit there and say one way or another that Chauncey Billups is a good or bad coach, I think that's disingenuous. Because when you're put in charge of a team that for a while there was trying to go down 2 separate timelines and was tanking without saying they were tanking, and it now is full on tanking and sitting guys out, and you have legitimate injuries, how on earth am I supposed to judge whether or not he can lead a team to any sort of promised land?
Well, one of 2 things is happening. He's either being asked to make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, or he's just being asked to lose. Either way, you can't prove what you're worth as a coach that way.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just how they play. I mean, obviously he's got a bad roster. Nobody's going to hold, even my comment, 32% of his games are wins. That's a little unfair. Yeah. I mean, he has no players, and they're tanking. So it's really how they play and just watching them play night in and night out. And he doesn't give me a lot of confidence. I'm with you. Maybe he is good if you give him better players, but
I think the offensive
how they play is it's not that encouraging.
No, the one thing I'll give him is that he gets the guys to play hard. Throughout the tanking, I mean, there was that East Coast run that was just, remember that, like that 6-game stretch? Like that was like, oh my God. But, there were times where he was rolling out rosters where you're like, who the hell is this? And they would play hard for 3 and 4 quarters and be in games. So
that is never a coup, in my opinion.
Exactly, right? Like,
who cares? You should play.
You're
hard.
Getting NBA players that
That's
are
what
trying
they said about Mo Cheeks. Like, oh well, he gets him to play. So what? That's his job.
Well, and the other one too is the guys that he's getting to play hard have to play hard because they're trying to prove, like, Duop Reith can't go out there and not and take a a Carmelo Anthony defensive sort of mentality and be like, yeah, whatever. You're trying to make the league. So those guys should play hard. And so I don't know to give him credit or blame. I have no idea what to make about him and whether or not he's the guy going forward. And next year, regardless of what happens with this pick, next year's draft is supposed to be this generational draft. Isn't the assignment next year to lose more than you lost this year?
Oh, we got another one of these?
I think he got another one.
Damn, dude.
This draft is kind of like, meh. But next year's draft.
Well, they're going to pick top 5 in this draft, probably.
Yeah, but again, this draft by all accounts is kind of like, But next year with Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey, that's the one that you want to be really bad at. So I would assume that next year is probably more of the same.
The sitch is he's going into the final year of his contract, guaranteed. And then I think maybe there's a team option or something after that. I can't remember. But so he clearly is getting a little antsy. But I don't know how much the league covets him. And the other thing is, I mean, if you're Joe Cronin, who you like, if he gets poached or you move on from him, who are you? Well, yeah, you're not.
He's not getting poached.
Well, right. I'm just saying.
I know.
If he leaves,
sure.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? And it doesn't really matter until you have what you think is your core in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter?
No, not really.
Because if you're going to keep tanking and keep adding young players,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I mean, so in other words, if you have a coach in mind, if you're Joe Cronin, that you think once you got your pieces in place is the greatest coach for what you are assembling, if you've got a fit and he's not, maybe it's Terry Stotts. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
Bring back the Terror Bear.
Bring him back.
Then maybe you bring that guy in.
Yeah.
Or you could just wait and hope the timing is right when you need a coach. But I think right now is not that time. It's like might as well just stick with Chance.
Yeah.
And then if he leaves, you know,
whatever.
Or if you are going to fire him and hire a new coach, you better have a great replacement in mind. Like you can't just
and a guy that is being brought in that deals with youth and is there to player development right now is the number one thing. You're years away. Regardless of what you do with this year's draft, you're years away. So you got to bring in someone that you feel can grow and develop these guys. And that's the other thing is in the front office, do you feel that Chauncey's doing that? Do you feel, and again, it's hard with the injuries, but do you feel that Chauncey is aiding into the development of certainly Sharp, certainly Scoot, to an extent Ant, although, he's been around the block a little more obviously than those guys. And whoever you draft in this one, are you confident that Chauncey Billups and his new staff, because you're not bringing back 3 of them, are you confident that those guys can grow and develop guys? So if the answer is yes, you keep him. And if the answer is no, and regardless of the record, then you go find someone that can.
I don't know if you know that yet. Do you? Do you know that?
I don't. But I would assume that they, being around the team on a day-to-day basis, certainly have a better idea than what we do.
Well, have you read about what you two bozos do not understand?
What's that?
Well, the text line says what you two bozos do not understand is that many NBA organizations have very sophisticated and proprietary metrics to value a coach's ability, and Billups checks those boxes.
I think he's joking.
I hope he's joking.
I think that's a Neil O'Shea joke.
I would think so.
Bro.
Because remember he said that's proprietary Sean.
Uh-huh.
But
I hope so. If not, I don't know.
Well, fine. If he checks the boxes, he doesn't check them here, so you can have them.
I'll say this: if he got fired or poached, collectively this entire city would go just like this.
Okay. All right. I don't think coach matters until you get your pieces in place.
No.
That's like you said, maybe 2 years.
At least. Again, I think next year, if you are being smart about this. Look, what you can't do is end a rebuild and a tank job early. You've already committed to it for multiple years. This is essentially year 3. You did it twice with Dame. You did it once this year without him. And so why stop now? Next year is supposedly a generational draft. What is one more year? By all means, suck again. And at that point, you will have Sharp, Simons, Scoot, let's say, whoever you draft this year, let's say you get, is it SARS is the guy that you want. You go out and get him.
SARS? He has SARS?
I think it's SAR. I think it's
SARS.
Yeah, but
SAR.
SAR, close enough.
You get him, and then let's say you get, I don't know, Ace Bailey or Cooper Flagg, next year. All of a sudden, you've got 5 guys that were all drafted in the top, the top 8.
Well, if you got 2, you mentioned, I don't know who, I know who Cooper Flag is. I don't know who Ace Bailey is. But if next year's draft is just 2 guys and they're awesome, and you definitely want to get one of them,
yeah,
you have to tank like you've never tanked before. Like
yes,
you have to set out to get one of those 2 picks.
Well, and with where you are right now, what's like Stu's saying, what's another year? If you botch this now, like you're not alienating any new people by doing this one more time over, because everybody who's still around wants this.
Of course, but what I'm saying is they didn't tank well enough this past year in order to get
So
Cooper
get it right
Flag.
this time.
Yeah, get it right. And I mean, no one has more losses than you.
Yes.
No one.
Yeah.
They started to figure it out at the end of the year where guys with like injuries that should have lasted a game or two seemed to go on for weeks. That was getting a lot better on their end. But
Again, know the assignment and get after it.
Maybe we go player coach.
Oh, I love it. There you go. Chauncey Billups as your starting point guard.
There
Ooh,
you go.
I love
who
it.
would you make the player coach? Brogdon?
No, Chauncey Billups. Get his old ass out there running around. Let's go.
Assuming you have to take a player from the current roster.
No, Chauncey Billups. Again, my job as the Blazers front office is to put a team that Major League. No. We've been losing. What I want is for us to finish dead last. It's true. When you have a generational kid, the Wembanyama, right? The Spurs know the assignment. Look, hey, Victor is in this draft. Guess what? We are going to be as bad as humanly possible. Period. End of story.
How about Delano Banton, player coach?
Ooh, the Bant man.
I like it. I like everyone. And you know what? It's just clear outs. It's just him.
Yep.
One-on-one the entire time.
My time to shine, man.
What if we go
Hell
international and a little Ryan Rupert?
Eh,
Is the
he'd
language
surrender.
Although I like the language barrier.
But that's what we want. We want
Yes.
surrender.
Surrender, language barrier. I like it. I like where we're going with this.
All right. There's your poll. It's on X at 1080 The Fan. What should the Blazers do with Chauncey Billups? Try one more year, extend him, or replace him? Vote hard. Up next, our NBA playoff poutine. Here's Buck. albeit tagged, but beautiful Portland, Oregon. The weather has turned. Summer is close.
Yeah.
Jace, summer is
what
close.
is tagged?
Well, I just meant it's
Graffitied.
Yeah,
Oh,
graffiti. I said beautiful Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
It's tagged, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah, it's getting better.
You know.
Getting better. By the way, no one down there knows where the hell Oregon is.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't know where California was.
Right.
That's a little more surprising.
But they know where the United States is.
They know Florida and New York. Other than that,
Texas?
no. Didn't meet anyone West Coast. Everything is East and a lot of Brits. So we tried. We were like, what about California? And they're like,
Have they heard of California?
kind of, sort of.
Wow.
Like a lot of like, isn't that where Dr. Dre's from? We got that. Dre and Tupac. And we're like, yeah, it's
Well, they're right.
They're like West Coast. And they were like, oh yeah, kind
It's
of.
like in the 60s, everyone thought California, like, oh, the Beach Boys, right? Like
Yeah.
you surf, yeah?
We were surprised. I thought for certain that because we just went with California, we thought it'd be easier for people. No, it didn't matter.
Yeah, we're just above California.
Eh,
What's California?
bingo.
Well,
When
it's a big country.
That's what I said. I was like, California. They're like Florida. I'm like, no, that's
Well,
it's ways away.
I'm always amazed when I go to other countries. If you say you're from Oregon
Mhm.
or even Portland, if anybody goes, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
think
they-
they're full of it.
they're
Like they're just lying.
100%.
That's like what I would do. I'd be like, "Oh yeah."
Sure, yeah. No, they were honest. They were like, I'm like, it doesn't really
But
matter.
if they did know, I'd be like, "Wow, that's really impressive that you know that." Even though it seems obvious to us because we grew up here, but it's not. Like, why would you know where Oregon is? Like, it's a kind of a random state for
100%.
most of the world.
Yes.
You know, they know there's like 50 of them. They don't know Oregon's one of them. They may not even know there's 50 of them.
That's why I just said it's like in the upper left of the country, and we leave it at that.
Did you show them pictures?
Nope.
Show them the homeless camps? Say, look at this.
Check this
You
out.
too can have a cardboard box for
You guys
a
do
front
fentanyl
door.
down here?
They were surprised that coke is very dangerous over here, because over there
Coke as in Coke?
cocaine. Yeah, they're very proud of their cocaine. Very, very proud.
Oh, so they're saying like, yeah, here you can just do a line and you don't need to worry about it.
Yes.
In the U.S., you got to test it for fentanyl first.
Yeah, they were like, "What? Like you're kidding me?" I was like, "No, dude, you just can't." People are dying left and right. They're like, "Wow, that's a shame." They're like, "Feeling great." Yeah, over there, it's
They're like, that's dumb. Yeah, if you just outline everything that's going on here for them, they're like, why do you live there?
Yeah, why not just sell everyone good Coke? That's what we do.
What is the matter with you? What is wrong with you people?
There was one guy that
Good question.
There was one guy that had gone to New York, and he was talking about, and it was random. He brought it up. He goes, "Your Coke is all yellow," and it's like, "It's disgusting. What you want is this. Look at the whiteness of this." And we were like, "Wow, that's something else."
Our Coke is yellow.
They were very, yeah. They thought our cocaine
Well, that's
was
a bit of an insult.
yeah. I was like, you know what? We do cocaine just fine. I was
That's
like, oh, wait.
right.
No, we don't.
The drug war. The drugs are winning the drug war. You don't think we have good Coke? Get out of here with that.
Go on.
It's unfair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where were we? Oh, our NFL playoff poutine. We only have one game.
NFL.
tonight. Or I'm sorry. What did I say? NFL.
There's an
Yeah.
NFL game going on right now.
NBA. NBA. National Basketball Association.
Yes.
Oh, we've got Pacers Knicks tonight. Mitchell Robinson is out for the Knicks. He is going to be out for the season.
So, like, I'm assuming they're gonna have to. Like, they run a 7-man rotation already. They're down to 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, Josh Hart's been playing like every minute of every
I-
game.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I love Josh Hart.
Yes.
I love him.
Blazer great.
But at the
Yes.
same time, listen, Blazer fan, Josh Hart was not the answer here. But he averaged
Speak
less,
for yourself.
he averaged less than 10 points during the regular season. But in the playoffs, he's been a machine. And he's nice when he doesn't have to carry. Jalen Brunson, by the way,
He's awesome.
holy crap.
He's a dude.
Yeah. But, you know,
Mavericks should get it. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they got Kyrie now. So,
I
would
think
you rather have Brunson or Kyrie? Probably
oh,
Kyrie.
Brunson. No. 100%.
Really?
Yes. Dude, Brunson deserves to be first team All NBA this year.
I mean, Dallas had Brunson. I think they're better with Kyrie.
well, this version of Brunson wasn't. This is
Because
like
wasn't the whole thing that he
Nah.
favored Luca
This
and
wasn't-
Carlisle
Oh,
didn't
that's
like
true.
him and stuff?
That's true.
Brunson is when they get healthy next year. And by the way, they've got room to add someone. The Knicks, believe it or not, the Knicks got something cooking. Like the NBA is going to be interesting over the next couple years because I'm assuming that Denver, after getting embarrassed this year, is going to have a little more hunger to them because they don't care right now. The best player in the NBA wants to go horse race, and Murray's beat up. So Denver isn't going anywhere. Minnesota, OKC, Boston isn't going anywhere. They look like a juggernaut out east. If Embiid ever stays healthy in Philadelphia, oh, and by the way, when the Knicks are healthy, they're an absolute machine. Like the NBA, there's some new blood, and it's going to be fun these next couple years.
All right. I've got one other thought. Well, it's not a thought, it's a stat pertaining to Nuggets Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
We will get to that next, and then we'll move on to something completely different. It is 3:49 on the Fan.
A surprise.
of a Dan Lanning football's football
We got another one?
line out there?
I didn't see that.
Buckley, could we?
Yeah, somebody tweeted us right before Suk and I both went on vacation, and I'm looking into this now. So we should have a Dan Lanning football drop coming up.
Excited.
Football's football.
Well, thanks for the reminder there, whoever you are on the text line. That's great.
Appreciate you looking out for us.
Football is football.
Football is football.
Football is football.
Football is football.
The best part of football is football. And so you got to do football.
That's still the best one.
Athletics is athletics.
But then athletics is athletics.
Yeah.
One more NBA playoff note. Just wanted to corkscrew this in real quick. Denver, Minnesota, probably over. Because
it certainly looks like Denver is offering no resistance.
Well, Minnesota looks great.
Yes.
That does not mean Denver can't adjust. But I think the biggest problem is Jamal Murray just doesn't look right.
No.
And Minnesota just throwing
everything at the Joker.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And by the way,
that's how you slow down Jokic there.
They frustrate him. And by the way, they're letting them bang a little bit.
Well, I know. We were talking about this yesterday. I feel like, I don't know what you think, but I feel like when the NBA changed they didn't really change the rules, but when they they tweaked everything and with the officials to try to get some defense back mid-season. Remember, we talked about the numbers. Scoring went way down.
Yep. Like, what is it, like 7-8 points a game?
That favored certain teams. Mm-hmm. And I think we're seeing now one team that certainly favored is Minnesota because they're so long and athletic already. Now they can be a little bit more physical, and that's nasty. Yep. Like, it's really tough. Whereas the example I brought up yesterday was Phoenix. I feel like Phoenix is just finesse anyway, so I'm not sure that they really benefited from that. Yep. Some teams more than others, but I think Minnesota's one that's like, yeah, you let us play physical, we're gonna get up on you. Jokic only shot the ball 13 times.
Yeah.
That is how you neutralize Jokic.
And they did it, by the way. They held them to 80 points, the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs. And they did it without the recently minted 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that was the lowest point output for the Nuggets in any game all season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I said going in, I didn't understand why everyone was not giving more credit to Oklahoma City and Minnesota. But I'd be lying if I thought that Minnesota was going to just run through the Denver Nuggets.
Well,
and then now I've heard some people be like, well, they hit I'm talking about the Nuggets. You know, should we have been alarmed that they hit 2 buzzer beaters against the Lakers? And I was like, no, I kind of thought they're playing with their food a little bit, but they made plays when they had to.
Well, they won a title, so they get the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And the other thing about the Nuggets is I think a lot of people are like, well, they were trying to get the 1 seed and couldn't even do that. So we should have seen that. Come on, dude. They're the champs. Yep. They've got the MVP. They are the team to beat. It is alarming how bad Minnesota is kicking their ass. Yeah. And somebody asked yesterday, they said, did anyone have the balls to come out and say they think this could happen or would happen? And I responded to them by saying, no chance. No. The media is groupthink. Yeah. Nobody is ever going to stick their neck out like that. They're going to go with the known quantity, the Denvers, the Bostons. They're not going to stick their neck out on Minnesota and Oklahoma City yet until they see it, until it's safe to do that. Because they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to look like an idiot. And meanwhile, this is what I always say about prognostications and picking playoffs, and nobody knows anything. It's like, dude, we knew Minnesota was good, but nobody, not even the great Tim Legler, could see when they matched up that this would happen. Yeah. So it's just, that's why
and now 2 games in, everyone's like, well, this is a terrible matchup, and they should have avoided Minnesota. And now we're all acting like Minnesota was the play all along.
Denver doesn't care. They think they could beat anybody.
I'm just amazed at seemingly the lack of effort and frustration. I mean, my God, you got Jamal Murray, who's as clutch as anyone. He's freaking throwing heat pads.
Yeah, he's frustrated. That's what defense do, bruh. This is why I love the NBA. That if they allowed the hand check back, but they're just allowing more physicality. This is basketball to me.
Yes,
because it's both ends of the floor,
Getting
man.
After it,
and you're going to see a totally different champion based on that. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. And by the way, Anthony Edwards. It turns out he's pretty good.
Oh, him too.
Yeah, him too.
So
dat
here,
you, yeah, dat me.
There are 5 teams in NBA history that have won a series after dropping the first 2 games at home. 5. Overall, 5 and 36. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 41 times a team has had a shot at it. 5 times they've actually done it.
It's like 12%?
Yes. What's interesting is that each time it's happened, the team that did it the prior time was the team that blew it the next time.
Huh.
In other words, in 1969 was the first time this happened. The Lakers beat the Warriors after the Warriors won the first 2 games at home. Suck it, Buck. 1993, so many years later, the Suns did it to the Lakers. 1994, the Rockets did it to the Suns the very next year.
Interesting.
2005, the Mavs did it to the Rockets. And most recently, this happened just 2 years ago, this occurred. Do you remember who it was? A team that lost the first 2 games at home but won the series.
2 years ago.
It happened in 3 years ago. It happened in 2021.
2021. No, I don't remember who that was.
It was the 4-5 matchup in the West, and the Clippers lost the first 2 games at home to the Mavericks.
And came back.
And won. So those are the only 5 teams have done it. The other 36 have lost.
Well, look, I'm never going to say, but Murray looks hurt, and if he's hurt, they're hooped. I'm never going to count out the best player in the NBA and the Denver Nuggets, but they haven't looked great for large chunks of the season. They look disinterested. They look hurt. And Minnesota right now it's just a buzzsaw. Maybe they come out in game 3 and show some life, but boy, it sure looks like one team is out to prove something. The other team is just ready to go on vacation.
Well, if Minnesota keeps up their energy defensively, particularly with what they've got going on, they didn't even have Gobert and they smothered him. If they keep that up, Denver's got no chance.
Yeah.
But maybe Minnesota will let their hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
Murray will start hitting some shots.
Well, and this goes down to you haven't been here before, and does youth finally catch up to you? But
then it starts to snowball.
Yeah, snowball.
Jokic gets hot, and all of a sudden Minnesota starts to panic or get worried. Who knows? But based on the first 2 games and just looking at the length and athleticism of the Timberwolves,
Yep.
Good luck. Let's get them in the finals.
Yeah, let's go see Oklahoma City versus Minnesota. Let's go. And
So you're not fast forwarding to the finals. You're only fast forwarding to the West Finals.
No, I'm not going to write off Oklahoma City. It's like I going into this thing, I did not understand why we were just dismissing Oklahoma City and Minnesota, who had been so good all year. Now, on the other side of things, just give it to Boston now. I mean, is Boston going to lose another game the rest of the way? There's no one in the East. But I'm not writing off Oklahoma City and ready to crown Minnesota.
All right, up next, let's go to baseball. Happy Paul Skeens Day.
Yeah.
It's 4:01 on the Fan. welcome back. What's up? Big Soup's back. He's back from St. Lucia. Buck is back from his white privileged trip to Southern California, namely Santa Barbara.
Must be nice.
And I am back from doing nothing.
Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Well,
Back from the golf course, perhaps?
yeah, I played golf, and I had last week I had a day of day drinking and casino gambling.
You know what? It's a nice day.
It's a great day.
Yeah.
So,
Nothing wrong with a little gambling and some day drinking.
so I have no complaints. Hey, sign up for the Fan Golf Classic. Damn it!
Speaking of drinking, day drinking, I give you the Fan Golf Classic.
Yeah, it could be morning drinking or afternoon drinking because you can play either AM or PM round. But it's the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic. It is Thursday, July 11th. Out at Langdon Farms, presented by Autotown GMC. Foursome is 650 geets. There's a bunch of booze and food and fun crap. And you can sign up at 1080thefan.com.
Sells out every year, and good times are guaranteed.
Yeah, it does sell out every year. And Cooley the other day said we were about halfway home. So
Tasty. When are they going to let us play in that thing again?
yeah, just look, man. That boss of ours, he's a real.
It happened back in the day.
Did it?
Yeah, we played.
Well,
that.
there were two waves, and we would play in the morning wave because we were the afternoon show.
Yes,
We would still have to do the show.
it has not happened.
See, what I want to do is just play and not do the show.
One of those times we did not have to do the show. That was the infamous taking a nap on the tee box.
Oh, yeah?
I can assure you, I did not do the show later that day. Yeah, we had one where we
Who did our show?
I think we just did national programming.
Or could have been a best of if Lynch was running a best of.
Hey, Buck, you want to do the show on July 11th?
No, I don't.
Buck, that is not the sort of go-getter attitude. You know what Jordan Schultz would say? You know what Schultz would say?
Hell yeah.
Be all over it.
No, I would miss you guys too much.
Buck, care more. Your white privilege is showing yet again.
It's hard to hide.
Hey, listen to this. Before we get to baseball, I've got late-breaking Dan Lanning news.
Mm-hmm.
We have the clip, thanks to one of our listeners.
Is it glorious?
Well, you be the judge.
I'm waiting.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
God, it was everything I could want.
Oh, my God.
It's perfect.
The best part of football is football. And so you got to do football.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
Football's football. Football's football.
Football is football.
Football's football.
Football is football.
Football is football. Football.
Football's football.
There's one thing that we've learned doing this for 20 years, and it
We
is
know this.
indeed
Yes.
football is football.
No one knows better than this show.
Yes.
That football is football.
Yeah. And look, you have to do football. And in order
The only way to get better.
is
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
yeah, that's it.
The only thing that would be better about that clip is if he said do football.
Yes. Yeah.
The best part of football is football. And so you got to do football.
It's the only way that clip could have been better is if
Football's
he
football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
Can we slice in a do on that?
I mean, we could try.
I always used to say that, like, because you do conditioning, there is nothing that gets you in shape for football other than actually playing that stupid sport. I don't care how much you run or whatever. You the first time you go out and you put on pads, you're like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Well, isn't that why they say that?
Yes.
Like, they're all saying it. So what do they mean? Football is football means
You have to do it.
you just
So you got
it's
to
the
do
same.
football.
Well,
and so you just have
And I'm assuming that clip, because I was one of the Twitter accounts that I follow was talking to Lanning after the spring game, and someone had asked him about like tackling during spring. Like, do you tackle? Because a lot of teams now don't live tackle, and Lanning was like, no. He goes, look, you try to be smart about it, but his thing was, dude, if you want to be a good tackling team, guess what? You have to
gotta
tackle.
tackle.
And if you want to be physical, if you want to run the ball, you have to run. You have to do those sorts of things. And so I come from a world, and by the way, I'm jealous. I am not one of these dudes that's like, yeah, back in my day. But there's a little bit of like, I am so jealous when I see people's spring practice schedules and there's no more 2-a-days and all the different restrictions, because we just did like 2-a-days were legitimately 2-a-days for like 3 weeks, and they were all padded. It was pads in the morning and pads in the evening. It's all it was.
Well,
there was no sort of we need to save ourselves. It was just like we're gonna kick you in the balls for 3 months or 3 weeks straight and see what happens.
We're gonna make you men.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not.
It appears the context of that is him being asked about whether it was disheartening to see players who had been banged up for a lot of spring then get hurt in the spring game. He said no, because football is football, and the only way you get better is by playing football.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The idea of like load management or resting legs, that did not. Trust me, in the world of Norm Chow, that did not exist. The idea of, I'm just like that. If you don't, Norm Chow is the legendary offensive coordinator. You know, these Heisman trophies at USC and BYU, and did Phillip Rivers at North Carolina
UCLA
State.
too, right?
No, USC. I don't think he was ever at UCLA.
Oh, you're right.
But he was just this old school Hawaiian guy. He was our de facto head coach. The idea of going up to Norm Chow and telling him that I didn't really feel like putting on the pads today because, it's been 2 days in a row and my back's a little sore.
Norm Chow, UCLA OC, 08 to 2010. Who's the idiot now?
Wow.
Who's the idiot now? We think.
But also USC.
He would have taken one of his giant Hawaiian man calves and kicked me with it. It just. And I'm jealous. Like, I am not one of those guys that's like the way we did it was better, but there is an element to that. If you wonder why teams don't tackle and why teams aren't as physical, that is part of it. It's why the NFL at the beginning of the year
not at Oregon
is so bad. Remember you ever watch the first 2-3 weeks of the NFL and you're like, oh my God, because they're not allowed to actually go through live stuff, and that's the NFL.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard.
I remember Mike Riley once telling us when we used to have him on. By the way, you missed Mike Riley is now a member of the College Football Playoff Committee.
I saw that too. Boy, that guy just finds a way to.
He's
great. His dad genes just resurface places.
Yeah, he's gonna ride his bike to the meetings each week. It's gonna be.
Someone have to explain to him Zoom.
Cute as hell. At any rate, he told us back in the day.
Back in the day, now.
He played for Bear Bryant in Alabama,
Yeah.
and he said that that you'd get into. I mean, it'd be late summer, so it'd be hot as hell down there, and Bear Bryant wouldn't even let him have water.
No, water was viewed as weakness.
Yeah, like, you don't need water.
Yeah.
Bitch, get up and run.
Yeah. We had one in high school. If you took off your helmet, it's 95 degrees. If you took off your helmet, you were in serious trouble.
I'm gonna kick your ass, you little bitch.
Yeah. Take some salt tablets and start running again. Like, the game is better.
Kick the ball, you little bitch.
But as far as
that's for the kickers.
on-field performance, it does affect it because you can't do the live stuff. But in Dan Lanning's world, hey, man.
Well, I like that. I want that attitude in my football coach. I don't care about the players. Just, hey, next man up. Move it up 10. Let's go.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
That's exactly right.
And remember, choose not to be sick.
Yeah, that's another great one. Dan Lanning says that being sick is a choice.
And we asked him because you were out. I was like, hey, do you ever get sick? No. Sickness is a choice.
Sick? What are you talking about?
The best part of football is football. And so you got to do football.
Man, I love football coaches.
Yeah.
All right. They're deep down at their core, they're all the same.
There's an element of
They're all the same.
There's I think there is a few Mike Rileys that I think are slightly different.
But I guarantee you somewhere along the line, Mike Riley said, football's football.
It's Division I football!
Well, it is amazing to think about that he came from the Bear Bryant coaching tree and came out as soft-spoken and as nice.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
Bear
true.
Bryant was a legendary a-hole.
Yeah. Usually,
you think they would have whipped him into shape and made him
Right.
a little bit more of a red ass.
Well, usually you emulate the leaders that you had.
Yes. Yeah.
Not Mike Riley.
It's why I was always afraid to go into coaching.
Hello.
And luckily my schedule doesn't allow it, but as I've said, I hated my offensive line coach so very much. I hated a lot of my coaches. And I was always afraid that I would just turn into that. I'd be on the sidelines and couldn't help myself. I would just feel myself start to shake and yell and mimic Roger French, and then I would have to die.
By the way, before we move on here, somebody brings up another clip, a classic fan clip. And it took me a second to put two and two together here, but this text says, I don't know, you ask coaches about tackling, they fall asleep on the phone.
Teams really don't tackle in the fall anyways. How many days would you venture to guess that you would go live anyways? Coach? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, we still there.
Hello.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
Hashtag never forget.
Brady Hoke falling asleep.
It's an all-timer.
A low T.
Yeah.
Coach?
You ask
Hello?
about tackling.
Hello?
Yeah, what, huh?
What?
To be fair, that was like it. I think
It
that
was.
It was like 7 a.m.
Yeah, but to be fair, those guys say when they want to do it. Like,
and
you know.
Dan Lanning shows up at 7 a.m. in the morning
He's
with
not falling
bells
asleep.
on. That dude ain't falling asleep. He's had 10 cups of coffee. He's ready to
I
ball.
wonder if we just said, hey, we're not going to tell you who this is, but just, could you ever imagine this happening to you during an interview? I don't. I just
Playing that for Lanning would be something.
I don't want. Yeah,
that's borderline.
It's dicey.
Yeah,
because someone
he
will
maybe
know.
knows Brady Hoke or something.
Yeah,
Also, same institution.
just the idea of Dan Lanning falling asleep during an interview.
He could not be more opposite of fall asleep on the phone guy.
Yeah, I don't see him really sleeping ever.
Yeah,
No.
he probably gets 2 hours a night.
Tired. Gruden was like that. I never saw him tired.
I
Not
read
once.
a bio on him that Gruden had his alarm set for 3:13 a.m. and it started by would wake him up to with Bon Jovi blaring at that time.
I've never seen him tired.
Yeah.
Just every meeting we were at, I for a while was like, what is he on? Dead serious. Like, there's no way that someone can be that turned up the entire time. And then you're like, no, he can.
He runs a marathon at sprint speed. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And it just blew me away. Because when you meet people like that, and I think Lanning is one of those guys, this is what he was meant to do. And I've always wanted to see, because Lanning and didn't play at a high level, right? He played lower level football.
Robert Jewell College, I
William
Jewell,
Kansas City.
And I think Gruden was like a backup quarterback at Dayton. I would love to see was he like that
in college?
In college too?
Was he Rudy?
Because I remember sitting in meetings and you are fighting to stay awake, right? It's like you're in the middle of a mid-season grind or 2 days or whatever, and you're sitting in meetings and the lights go out and the film's going and you are just fighting. That's why everyone, you dip, you put in a chon, it kind of wakes you up, but you are just fighting to stay awake. And I just imagine Lanning in the background, just like Guns N' Roses playing it. It's like Welcome to the Jungle, just like during film. Or was he human back then and then later became a cyborg? Or was he like that when he played too?
Well, this is a line of questioning that I think you should go down when we explore that when we have him on.
When did you become a football robot? And at one point, were you human?
Well, guys, if you're just tuning in, we have added to the catalog.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
Hell yeah. From one of our favorites, Dan Lanning. All right, baseball is next. Paul Skeens is here. 420 on the Fan. Yeah, hey, I was talking to a buddy of mine in Vegas who, he rubs elbows with the high and mighty sometimes.
Sure.
Down there.
It happens in Vegas.
Yeah, he said, because remember we were talking to Dan Lanning about going to the Sphere and seeing you too?
Yeah.
Lanning, this guy actually got to go to dinner at one of their restaurants with Lanning and a crew.
Oh.
When he was coming through there.
Yeah.
And he said, and I've heard this, everybody that's ever spent some time with Dan Lanning says this. He called him a great guy.
Yeah.
Said he was classy and super low key, which is interesting because it's like
he's so wound up.
He's just wound up, but he's not always like he's. That's what I think a lot of people really like about him is that he has enough perspective to shut that down when he needs to.
Sure.
Hey, you're just at dinner, dude.
Yeah.
And so he's super. And when he's at dinner, he's still a great, genuine guy, and that's what makes him so relatable and so well liked.
Yeah, and when you can strike that balance,
yes,
like that's
not a lot of them do it.
No, and that's why you can see he does so well with recruits. He does so well with other coaches, and probably why a lot of people thought he was a rising star in this profession because, what do they always say? Like you don't the it factor. You don't really know how to define it. You just know when someone has it, and we'll see. Obviously he hasn't won anything here at Oregon. Like they're on a great trajectory, but to be fair, it's like you got to win something. But it sure feels like he's made for this. And I think if you're Oregon and you're betting on your future, I think you're going all in with Dan Lanning. And now you got to go and you got to back it up. And you're going into the Big Ten and you're going into an expanded football playoff. And it's time to stop, with clicks and getting great recruits and all that and start winning championships.
They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins.
Yeah.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
We'll have another segment on this fairly soon about expectations now and everything because they're top 3 in the rankings.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Well, and they're saying too that this could be a doozy. Some people are saying that this Ohio State team, they're saying on paper, it's funny considering that all they've lost in the receivers over the years. They're saying this may be the most talented Ohio State team we've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're saying Ohio State, and that's what
game.
that's what they're saying about Oregon. You could make an argument, just top to bottom in the roster, that this is going to be the most talented Oregon team ever assembled.
Oh, I don't even think it's an argument.
So, this is, and going into the Big Ten and Ohio State and Oregon playing in the regular season, this is going to be fun.
All right, but remember, sleeping is a choice as well. So being sick is a choice and sleeping is a choice. That's where he gets the advantage. While the rest of the coaches are sleeping,
well, Ryan Day's
watching film.
Ryan Day's dyeing his hair and his evil goatee. Meanwhile, Dan Lanning. Have you seen Ryan Day?
Not lately.
He has a, it's like I call it the Steven Seagal effect. It's one, he's getting fat, and his hair is so unnaturally dark. It's comical.
Huh.
Like
okay. I'll check him out.
Ryan Day is turning into
like every
Steven
follicle
Seagal.
is pitch black now.
Yes.
It's abnormal.
I gotta say, he does not look like a football coach. Right? I think we're used to him enough now.
Yeah.
Because he's been around, but he doesn't.
He's kind of got a Seth MacFarlane thing going on.
Yeah, he looks.
Well, again, I think he looks like evil Ryan Day. Like back in the day, like you'd watch Knight Rider and there'd be an evil twin and he just had darker hair and a beard or a goatee. Ryan Day is turning into an evil clone of Ryan Day.
Hey, the baseball nugget I wanted to get to is that Paul Skeens is here.
Yes.
Finally. We were just bitching about this yesterday.
Livy Dunn's man has finally arrived.
So he was the #1 pick in last year's MLB draft. He has only pitched, I want to say, 5 times in the minors.
And he's mowing people down.
Dude, he's killing everybody. His ERA is under 1. He throws 103 miles an hour, and he's 6'6", dominated in college, has dominated at AAA, and now he's coming up to the bigs. They finally called him up. All the Pirates fans have been saying, what the hell are you waiting on? Because his arm's going to fall off eventually, so you might as well he's like wasting bullets down there. So they've called him up, and he's going to start Saturday against the Cubbies.
So he's got a .99 ERA. This is at AAA this year. He's striking out 6 for every walk, and he struck out 43% of the batters that he's faced. So
he's worth a watch, man.
Yeah.
Dude, his stuff is filthy.
Who are they playing?
Cubs.
Oh, yeah, it's the Cubbies. Look, again, he'll dominate for like 6 weeks and then his arm will fall off like everyone else's. But again, it's.
I wonder if he's already had. Does anybody know that? Has he already had the
Tommy
elbow
John?
surgery? Because sometimes they have him young.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what his injury history is.
He's only 21 years old.
Yeah.
But they say there's one scout that was quoted as saying, I have not seen this can't miss kind of stuff since Strasburg.
Yeah, that's the one that you always hear.
And Strasburg was awesome. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And
because he came up really early out of San Diego State too. He didn't spend. Did he spend any time in the minors?
I don't know.
I
That's
think
a good question.
I think he was one of
he
those
straight?
guys that was like right away.
Well, Skeens is. I mean.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much right away. Yeah. What'd you say? 7 starts or something?
Yeah, something like 27, 28 innings. Look and see if Strasburg ever played in the minors.
Last year,
because he just retired, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done. I forgot. Skeens last year was. It looks like he had 2 starts at AA last year, and he got rocked. Well, he pitched 2 2/3 innings, gave up 4 runs, and then he had 2 starts at A ball last year. But this year's all AAA, 7 starts, and now he's coming up to the bigs. And they the other one that I saw was they're saying we have not seen a more anticipated pitcher debut in Major League Baseball since Doc Gooden.
And Gooden came up, I think, at 19 or 20, and Doc Gooden put together the greatest season a young pitcher has ever had. Go look at Dwight Gooden at 19 or 20 years old. He was the best pitcher in baseball. It was ridiculous.
Strasburg did play in the minors.
Did he?
He played he made his pro debut for the Phoenix Desert Dogs in the Arizona Fall League.
You know, I wonder, did the Mariners, like, if you had to do it all over again, because didn't the Mariners draft
well, they
Clement, like the catcher?
No, it was the end of the season. They won a meaningless game against the A's.
Yeah, and they dropped to number 2.
And they dropped to number 2, and that was Dustin.
Was it Ackley?
Yeah, that game against the A's cost them. Had they lost it, they'd draft number 1, and they would have gone with Strasburg. But then Strasburg ended up in Washington, and they ended up with Dustin Ackley.
And he never did anything. So I was about to ask, like, what would you do that all? Knowing Strasburg just could never stay healthy, would you do it all over again?
Yes.
The same way? But
no, I would.
You would still take Strasburg. I mean,
Yes.
he pitched. I don't know how many innings he pitched, but he won a World Series. I mean, like he was,
and he was great. He
just didn't pitch.
His career, he had an ERA in the low 3s.
Oh yeah,
won
he was
113
awesome.
games. I'm not gonna see how many games he actually pitched though.
There was some Strasburg, I think he only pitched like 35 innings after he signed a $241 million deal.
I think that's right. Over under total starts, I'm gonna say 115.
No, it's
150.
Yeah, more than you think. So again, he pitched for 13 years, and
13.
13 years. Now again, those at the end, like he didn't do anything, but he pitched 247 games.
Okay.
But games started, like he had a decent run there. It was 12-5, and then 28, 30, 34, 23, 24, 28, 22, 33, 2, 5, 1. So the last couple years were nothing. But I mean, did he ever win
Cy Young?
Cy Youngs? Was there a Cy Young in his?
I'm gonna say yes.
I'll look and see.
1 year, right?
I'll look and see if he. In my mind, I think about him.
It appears not. It looks like he won a World Series MVP in 2019.
That's what I'm thinking.
He also led the NL in wins in 2019.
Yep.
But no Cy Young.
The best he ever finished in Cy Young voting was 3rd.
3 All-Star games. So, I mean, that's one of those careers that was really good and probably goes down as what could have been, right?
Yep.
But when you watched him pitch, and I'll be interested because I haven't watched a lot of skiing here, but with Strasburg, he had one of those deliveries where you're like, your arm is going to fall off. It just looked so unnatural, like a whip.
I'm no expert on the mechanics of this thing, but I think Skeen's motion looks really odd. I think it looks like he's taxing his arm a ton. I'll be interested to see what other analysts think when he's widely or closely looked at in these pro starts, but his motion seems funky to me for 103, 104.
So it's sometimes like when you watch guys, it seems effortless, and other guys, it feels like they are, like when you watch a guy on a golf tee, right? There's some dudes that just get up there and it's super swing speed and the hips and everything, and it just launches. And then other dudes, it feels like they are swinging from their shoes. And I remember watching Strasburg and just thinking to myself, dude, it looks like your arm's going to fall off. Lincecum was one of those guys when you watched him where it seemed
way too much whip.
Yeah, DeGrom had this.
You know what would be kind of cool is to see somebody break down what proper mechanics for longevity actually look like.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of us know.
No.
Like they all look, I mean, they're all
Go
throwing,
study Jamie Moyer.
They're all throwing heat.
Yeah.
But well, Jamie Moyer though, I mean, he couldn't throw 103, right?
No.
You know,
No, he never had that in
It's
his
like
bag.
take all these guys that are throwing heat and show me a guy who will hold up and why, and point out why. Like, what do I look for in mechanics that will save this guy's arm? Because it's out there. I mean, they're trying to teach this stuff, but at the same time, a lot of pitchers are going, "F you! I just want to throw as hard as I can."
And by the way, you are so right. I'm watching a video of him throw. It is. It's a little.
It
bit,
looks painful.
It looks
It's
painful.
weird.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
weird.
like he is. It looks unnatural, and how fast that thing goes, and just seems like a tremendous amount of torque. But
Number of starts before he has Tommy John. Over under
20.
That's about right. Well, that's
Right.
this season. I
This
mean,
season,
they
right?
won't.
Go 35. Does he make it through
No.
halfway through next season?
They won't. Oh, okay. So because they'll shut him down. Like they
Yeah.
won't let him pitch that many times this year.
I wouldn't think.
They'll limit him.
Yeah, I mean
But
the Pirates are okay. They're like I think they're a couple games below 500, but you would assume that you're treating him with beyond kid gloves, right?
okay, 30. I'm gonna go with 35. I like that number. So that's basically a full season of starts. Does he get a full season of starts in? 35 starts before his arm breaks, snaps in half right on the mound. Dave Dravecky.
I'm gonna say yes, just because I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for
Well,
him.
I hope so too, but
But
no.
I don't
No.
feel comfortable with it. No.
he might go down next week.
I just, especially big. It's funny. I don't know. The bigger you are, I just assume. Look at the Astros, the Dodgers. I just feel like every other pitcher this year is on the IR. It's just it's what it is. I'm trying to see if he's ever had an injury. I'm reading through his bio to see if there's anything in his past.
Well, he's only 21. So
I know
mean,
that's what I was saying. High school or college, I would assume it'd be in his bio, but apparently he committed to the Air Force Academy.
By the way, he's dating Livy Dunn. For those that
I think he played at Air Force, didn't he, before
Yeah,
transferring to
looking
LSU?
here.
I think he might have played there.
well, he's got an Air Forcey mustache.
Sure
Yes, he
does.
does.
So he will start Saturday against the Cubs. We got to move on. In the news is next. Here's Buck. Yes, we do have the NBA MVP, and it is Nikola Jokic for the third time. We'll talk more about that coming up. Right now, it is May 8, 2024. It is time for In the News. I'm your Noted Newsman. Hello, thank you. My trusty news contributor is back.
I'm back, yes.
He is back just in time for No Socks Day. Are you wearing socks? There are no socks on your feetsies.
I got my slip-on Vans today.
You know, one of the main reasons I love sunny weather, which we're now getting, beginning today, besides the fact that I just feel like I'm always in a better mood when it's sunny.
That is science, by the way.
Yeah. And I feel that. Now, Buck, I was asking Buck about this, and he says he doesn't really feel that. And I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to it.
I didn't say that. Because I do feel the benefits of when it is sunshiny, but I think unlike some other people, it doesn't bother me being in the gray as much as it affects others.
I don't know if the gray bothers me, but I will tell you what. I am in a 100% better mood when it is sunny, even if it's cold and sunny.
Yeah.
It's
all about the sun.
I am 100% with you. It changes. I'm not saying the other one is bad, but I do not feel the same when it is.
So your vitamin D that you get there?
Yeah. Well, and the melatonin.
The VD, baby.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Love that VD.
Love it.
I tell you what, there was a guy, I think he was on the Rogan podcast, which I don't always listen to, but this guy I thought was interesting, so I checked him out. And I forget what his discipline is, but he's like this natural path type of some sort of doctor. And he said there are 3 things that if people knew that they can do, and if people knew the benefits of these 3 things, and they're all free, because people pay all this money for all this diet stuff or gym or this, it's like there are 3 things that you can do that are free that if you only knew how much it would improve your life if you did them daily. And now I'm forgetting one of them, but one of them was 10 minutes of sun every day.
Yeah.
Just go out, lay your body somewhere, and let the sun hit your sexy skin.
Yep.
That's one. Another one is cold plunge.
Yeah, and then I'm sure the other one's got to be some form of exercise, like getting your heart above a certain. And that goes back. There's a really good.
Yeah, God, what was it?
There was a really good book. I like this stuff. There's a really good book called Younger Next Year, and there is a biological reason behind why you feel happy and motivated in the sun and kind of depressed and gloomy, because it's a survival skill. Going back when we were hunter-gatherers, when it was sunshine out, that's when you had to make your hay, right? You had to go out, kill, move. That was all expending your energy. And then when the winter hit, you need to slow your metabolism down because you can't go out and do those things. You would basically go into some form of hibernation. And so if you let it, your body will start storing fat, your metabolism will slow down, you will sleep longer. Believe it or not, your body is biologically programmed to be depressed and stationary when it's cold and gloomy out, because that's how we survived winters.
Well,
so trick your body into thinking it's summer year-round by getting up, like you said, getting sunshine and moving.
Go to Arizona.
Yeah, that works too.
But I don't subscribe to that theory because I don't feel like I'm tricking myself into it being summer. It's really, really dreary, and it really bothers me. It is also National Root Canal Appreciation Day.
Oh, didn't you have one of those a while back?
I've had a root canal, yep.
Yeah. Never have, knock on.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Can't it just be Root Canal Day without it being appreciation?
Well, who needs to appreciate the root canal?
Well,
no one appreciates it.
I bet you do. If you need one and you got something in there causing serious problems, I bet you're happy.
You appreciate that the procedure exists, but no one appreciate having one.
Imagine what it was like before. I know, like, dentistry is a racket. Insurance doesn't cover crap. Dentists, they're living the high life over there. But imagine living in a world without dentistry. Go back to the 1800s. You want to live in that world? No. Be grateful that when you have a serious tooth problem, that there's a dentist to charge you an arm and a leg to take care of it.
It'll surprise this show zero to find out that my uncle is a cosmetic dentist.
Of course.
A cosmetic dentist, so like veneers and stuff?
Well, people who have like jacked up smiles, he does like oral surgeries and things like that.
The white privilege again.
Started as a regular dentist.
I see a lot of ads for that now.
Yeah,
for
that's-
people. Oh,
it's-
you want a new smile? New you, new smile?
It's only like $1,700 a tooth. Great. Stuff's expensive.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it looks a little weird.
Well, it can. If you pick the whitest shade and like they're all perfect, you can definitely tell that it's fake.
Tom Brady's chiclets were glowing a little bit during the roast, it felt like.
Yeah. But everyone's got them. You can go back and look at like Tom Cruise's teeth when he first came up.
Oh, he had middle tooth.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Bunch of those dudes.
What is the most churchless city in the United States?
Oh, man.
You ask.
Well, I bet you we're pretty high.
You think we are?
Well, we seem like a bunch of godless heathens out here, right?
Well, it says churched and unchurched adults, which is a funny way of saying it. I'm going to start using that. I'm unchurched.
Unchurched. I like it.
They are not evenly distributed across the country. Many cities outpace the overall U.S. population when it comes to church avoidance. We have a new report ranking the nation's largest cities by unchurched population. It ranks the nation's largest cities by the unchurched. Number 1. Big city. West Coast city.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
There you go.
Ding.
Hey, speaking of godless heathens, there's Ryan Buckley, Bay Area native.
That's right. Are you a religious man, Ryan Buckley?
Grew up in the Presbyterian Church in east of San Francisco.
Prezi.
Yeah.
Still go?
Yeah, my wife and I go to Beaverton Christian
Oh,
Church.
there you go.
Non-denominational.
Hey,
Really?
Yeah.
You go to church on Sundays?
Not every Sunday. I'd say probably half of them.
well, but I didn't know that Buck was a man of the half lord.
Did not know
All
that.
right, well,
They have a ball pit there, which my toddler loves.
I have a ball pit?
Yeah.
At church?
Yeah. In
Man.
the kids area.
Do they have any blackjack tables?
They don't. I'll inquire about making that change because I too would enjoy that.
Tell you what, you give me a bouncy castle and maybe I'll start going back. It's been a bit.
Number 2 is a weird one. So 61% of San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose unchurched.
Well, the country in general is becoming more and more unchurched.
It is.
It's at an all-time high.
And that's scaring a lot of people.
I know.
But you shouldn't be scared of us godless heathens. We still have a moral code.
Speak for yourself.
Number 2 is Burlington, Plattsburgh, Virginia.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
That's kinda weird.
I would think that Virginia is kind of, no, that's not in the Bible Belt, but I think it's buckle adjacent, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know why that is. Number 3 is Boston.
Wow.
Isn't that surprising?
Yeah, like
Boston.
Boston and the Catholics?
53%
That's really
unchurched.
surprising.
The Catholics have had their fair share of problems over the years. A little bit of a scandal there.
If you're wondering, Vegas is 6th, 51% unchurched. Seattle 7th, and Portland comes in. Now they ranked 117 cities. Portland ranks 13th
Okay,
amongst the unchurched,
so we're
or in the highest percentage of unchurched. We're at 46%,
all right. So we're
right ahead of LA.
okay. So 13th, we're that's actually a little lower than I would have thought.
Now there is a city that is 117th. In other words,
It's
only
the churchiest.
13% of people there are unchurched.
It'll be like Birmingham or something.
It's not a huge city, but
Yeah.
you know it well via sports.
Via sports, huh?
Yeah,
Like Jacksonville?
I was just there.
Oh, you were just there. Where did you go? Augusta.
Augusta, Georgia.
I was gonna say it's somewhere in the south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chattanooga, Tennessee, Greenville, Spartanburg, and all that. And then you have Nashville. Nashville's 114th. Nashville, 20%
Dude,
unchurched.
I'm telling you, dude. You drive. I mean, you've been there. You drive around the south.
Oh, yeah.
You see two things. You see Waffle Houses and you see churches.
Yeah.
Like every corner.
All over the place.
All over the place.
It's another world down there, man.
Yeah. It's
It-
like driving around Utah. Like you can't throw a rock in Utah without hitting a church. That's why I'm surprised that like Salt Lake isn't. I mean, that's like.
Although isn't Salt Lake like the least
then
Mormon of the Utah population? So
Provo. How is Provo?
I was just like
not
Provo or
number one?
Ogden or something. You couldn't go there.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, I would assume that
St. George.
I would assume that Provo is like the place.
Where is I don't see
I think
it
it's
on-
illegal to not.
Or do they not qualify for not being big enough?
Oh,
No,
I mean,
there's some small towns on
Yeah.
here.
yeah, Provo's not that small. And trust me,
Utah.
I don't think there's anyone unchurched in Provo.
Okay, Salt Lake is 86th.
Huh.
So they're at 28% unchurched. So the majority of people are in churches.
But still.
But yeah,
I'm surprised it's 28.
It's no Augusta.
No.
New Orleans actually has more people in church than
Salt Lake? Boy, you want to talk about an upset? New Orleans?
Yeah.
More churchy than Salt Lake.
About that.
Step your game up, Mormons.
Yeah, you guys are slipping, you Mormies.
Well, you lost me.
Maybe it starts right there. Get Sukanic back.
I don't think they want me.
And the rise begins.
Bring it up.
Yeah, there are other people they can grab. They don't want you.
They've moved on.
Nobody.
Son of a bitch. Holy cow.
Wow. Nobody is ODing quite like Oregon and Washington. That story next on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
It's what we've looked like all year. Every guy has a role. In the beginning of the season, we made it a point to control what we can control in our role and in our effort and our energy, and locking in on what our role is part of that. And that's just something that we come to the building every day, we come to work every day, and we do. We try to master our role, and everybody obviously it looks different for, but we have a group of guys that embraces their role and tries to excel in it, and that's why.
That is Lil Shay X.
That's where we're going with, huh?
Well, have you noticed how much he looks like Lil Nas X?
No, I haven't. I need to pay attention to that, huh?
Well, I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that thought he should have been the MVP.
Lil Nas X? That'd
yes,
be weird.
Little Nas X. He's like 5'2". He's like Prince.
Is he that small?
He's a little fella.
The Window into Sports brought to you by Window Nation. This month, receive 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 years. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home consultation.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. What year, if you could put it in a time capsule and we dig it up the moment
just don't see that over here as much.
No.
And in other places, it's not viewed as an ugly thing, or it's just like, I'm not spending money. I'm not spending money on that.
That's right.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be alarming. You immediately know, you're like, you're British. Yeah, it's jumps out at you.
It's not just a stereotype.
No, it is not. It is a very, very real thing.
And he's right about the size of cars. You go to Europe, you realize
Everyone's got tiny little hatchbacks and stick shifts. And
well, everything is huge over here. Our homes, our cars, everything. But
we got space.
We do have space
in America.
You don't really need it. That was actually the catalyst for us downsizing to our small house, and we just remodeled it. And my wife and I live in about 1,000 square feet, and that was inspired by going to Italy and staying at all these different places, different towns. It's like they're small. We don't need all this. We don't need this big mansion.
We just have room here. We got space.
We also rented a car and asked for an SUV. Oh, you should have seen what we got. We were lucky to get everything in that thing.
Yeah.
Their idea of an SUV, not the same.
Significantly different.
The Portland City Council has passed a new version of an outdoor camping ban. This is Ted Wheeler's amended policy.
Did we ever see what happened? I was gone. Did they ever resolve the Supreme Court from the Little Beaver, or was it what town in Oregon was going after the camping ban?
Well, I think that's what I don't know what ended up happening with that particular situation, but I know that's why they backed off of Wheeler's camping ban.
Yeah.
So he has a new one that he believes will pass muster in the courts. And that one beat out Rene Gonzalez's plan. They were fighting over that a couple of weeks ago. They have finally approved Wheeler's sort of less aggressive proposal. That wins out. And basically what it says, and this can go into effect, it's an emergency ordinance. So it can go into effect immediately. It doesn't have to wait 30 days. And it is that it prohibits homeless residents from camping on public property or public streets and sidewalks if they have access to reasonable alternative shelter.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's where it passes
there you go.
In the courts. If shelter space isn't available, the ordinance still bans camping that obstructs sidewalks or private property access.
Yeah, this is the one that I was talking about. It was in Oregon City, and this is from April 22nd, and it just said, a majority of Supreme Court justices on Monday appeared sympathetic to Oregon City trying to make it a crime for anyone without a permanent residence to sleep outside. Look, and I'm glad that we're finally taking this seriously. Look, I don't want anyone to fall through the cracks and be homeless, but my God, we can't just sit there and be like, hey, do whatever you want. You don't have a home, so, take a dump, do whatever, throw your trash everywhere, camp wherever you want. No, at some point, get back to some semblance of common sense, for God's sakes.
Hey, you shut up, jerk.
I know, now I'm an insensitive
You're an insensitive...
No.
Maxic. I don't think that's the word I was looking for. Toxic masculinity a-hole.
So yeah,
these bitches behind maintenance.
Yeah, they're saying the Supreme Court is going to rule in a month or two, but it appears they're leaning towards allowing the ban. Well, it's one of those things where, again, not to try to crap on anyone, but why is it that we have to bend over backwards for the small section of people that obviously have fallen on hard times, and like there's nothing we can do? We're like, well, they're in trouble, therefore they can do whatever they want. While the rest of us that are, again, doing what we're supposed to do, we pay our taxes, we follow the rules, we're trying to do those things, but we're not allowed to say that's infringing upon our lives as well. There has to be a balance there.
You are allowed to say that.
It's ridiculous.
You can have a heart and still want cleaner streets.
Yeah.
So.
Like, again, I just feel bad for a business owner that is trying to run a business. Meanwhile, he's got 9 people camped out in front of his place, and they're taking dumps, and the whole area smells like urine, and no one wants to come shop at his store. Like, what about that guy?
That is your In the News for May 8, 2024. We've got the Hot 5 at 5 coming up next. We've got more trouble for a Chiefs wide receiver. The NBA MVP has been announced. And a couple of baseball notes. And, of course, I'm going to corkscrew some golf in on you, too.
Right,
it's 5:01 on The Fan. Hey, it's Rapper. It's me, Isachi. They don't call me Rapper anymore. I've graduated to Isachi. Isachi. I'm a classy guy, and I like classy things, and I deal with only classy companies, and that's why my new partner is Weather has turned.
It's a turning.
It's nice out there today. It's supposed to be 90 on Friday.
Yikes.
It's me, Asachi. Big Sook is back.
I am back. Slightly hungover, worse for the wear, but I'm doing fine.
Are you jet lagged? Or is that a choice?
That's a choice.
Are you Dan Lanning?
We got in last night.
Is it Eastern time zone still?
Yeah, it's Eastern time zone. So we got in last night. When I got to bed, it was about 4:30 my time. But yeah, you wake up at 7:45, 8 o'clock, power through the one day, and then crash tonight, and you'll be fine.
That sounds like you're saying jet lag's a choice.
Yeah, I do not like the jet lag excuse. Get your ass up, get moving, get back to your daily routine. Vacation's over. Let's go.
Football's football, and the only way to get better at it is to play football.
That's right. Plus, you got to sweat out all the bad decisions. I've said it many a times. If I ever become wealthy, I am going to die because I need boundaries. When you put me in a vacation situation and I'm unchecked, it's a series of bad decisions.
So a part of you likes to get back and get back to your routine so you can feel better.
Or maybe part of him needs to get back.
Yes.
Yeah, and he knows that.
Yes.
Now, see, I don't have that. This is why I like to build in the buffer day, because I hate, and I mean absolutely hate, getting on a plane in a place like St. Lucia or wherever, knowing that I have to work the next day. Like, that ruins the whole day for me.
Yeah, I get it.
And I love this job. It's really fun. But come on.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't want to go back and do that tomorrow. I'll do it the next day after that.
Yeah.
And so I always build in the extra day, or maybe take a day off the vacation and say, you know what, I'm just going to spend that last day at home so I can still kind of day drink and then wean off of the...
I throw myself into the deep end. Like, I woke up, worked out, like went to jiu-jitsu. Like, I try to have a particularly hard day to kind of shock my system that you can't live like, I can't live like that. Like, that is
I think you can. People do it all the time. Sounds like it's a great way of life down there.
Well,
a little blow.
Yeah, my governor.
Some rum.
My governor switch gets broken down there, so I
no
need to,
shirt, no driving, simpler life.
It's not a bad life, but yeah, you get back to your daily grind, and you're right. We're lucky enough that I have a life that, while I do enjoy going on vacation, I do not hate coming back to my life.
Yeah, I don't hate coming back to life. I just like to ease back into it. I don't like the sudden, oh, this sucks. Now I gotta. And then it's like, then you start thinking about, well, what I got to do. And it's like, I need another day of half drunk.
Yeah, some people ease into the bath and other people cannonball. I happen to be a cannonball sort of guy.
All right, coming up in the club, is it the worst or best commencement speech ever?
Oh, jeez, I heard this thing.
We also have zoo news for you, and this is for you. I saw this many days ago, but
really,
I've saved it for you.
The texters really want him to get in on this too.
Yeah, there's a guy who's all over this.
I do love hot zoo news.
And so we'll get to that in the club. This hour, a little MVP talk and why we sometimes wear our hats backwards. Colin Cowherd edition.
There's nothing like that. Is your his hat backwards is your loud muffler. It
drives him crazy. He hates it.
He absolutely loathes it.
So we'll talk about that, have some fun. Right now, the hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victoricos.com. Number 5.
Both the Oregon and Oregon State women's golf teams advanced to the NCAA championships today.
Right. Look at you squeezing in golf.
Yep.
I love it.
I follow this. Separate regionals. The Ducks finished second at the Auburn regional, so they were really good. Top 5 at each regional move on. The Beavers started the day 7th, had to make up some ground, but they snuck into 5th. They leapfrogged Tennessee, and they make it via the North Carolina regional. They had a very good day, the Beavs, today. So both the Ducks and the Beavers will compete at Omni La Costa in Carlsbad May 17 through 22.
Love the locals.
Do you know that course, Isaac? Is that a good place?
I actually don't know the course. I know of it, but I've never played it. It's on my list, but it's kind of expensive. And I've actually heard some people tell me, because we go down to Southern California a lot, some people have told me that course is overrated. And so I've kind of, for the money that you pay, so I'm just like, just play at Torrey Pines.
Oh, must be nice. You and your white privilege showing.
It's like $40. It's like $50
at Torrey Pines
for me.
Let's see.
I got my ways.
Versace, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man. More trouble for Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice.
What a moron.
Yeah, he's already in hot water. He had that hit-and-run car crash. He faces 8 charges and a lawsuit from that.
Yeah.
Now he's accused of hitting a photographer at a club in Dallas.
Can you just, your whole life's ahead of you. You had a breakout season. You won a Super Bowl. You just purposely trying to tank your life?
You go home for a little while and play some video games?
God, bring the party to you.
Yeah, these guys are
they just
young and dumb.
Can't get out of his own way.
Number 3.
The Rangers lead the Mariners by a half game in the AL West, but they have added a 6th starting pitcher to the IL as Dane Dunning is now out with a shoulder injury. The Astros are on pace for just 56 wins, but their GM says the team's too good to consider a sell-off.
Is that the most startling thing? They are 12-23 this year.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Who saw that?
Well, they've had a lot of pitchers hurt, but their offense is they're not good at all.
No.
Their team ERA is 14th out of 15 in the American League.
They have a negative 30 run differential. It just is alarming.
Well, their GM says they're too good.
Too good.
So he's going to wait it out. We were just griping about this yesterday. The Pirates have finally called up Paul Skeens, the number 1 overall pick in last year's MLB draft. He will start Saturday against the Cubbies.
Okay. So that's a little must-see TV right there.
Mariners are playing right now because the Rangers... Well, Texas is playing a doubleheader. They beat the A's. The A's got them 9-4 in the first game. And the second game, it is 7-6 Rangers in the 5th.
Have you seen or talked about what that cat Mason Miller is doing for the A's?
Yeah, we talked about him a few weeks ago.
Okay.
He's must-see TV, too.
He's now over 50% strikeout percentage through 60 outs.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
Unbelievable. He's like Paul Skeens, but already up. Mariners, by the way, are losing 3-0 in the bottom of the second.
And 3 runs normally is insurmountable, but they had 10 the other night, right? Their offense stinks.
Yeah, it's not very good, but Cal Raleigh's hit a couple big home runs lately.
Yeah. Well, I think they have the fewest runs given up in Major League Baseball.
What am I on here? Number 2?
I believe so.
Number 2. The Knicks lose big man Mitchell Robinson 6 to 8 weeks, ankle injury. He is the 3rd Knickerbocker who is now lost for the rest of the season.
When you're playing a 7-man rotation and you lose another one, they're just running out of bodies.
The Knicks are up 1-0 on the Pacers in their East semifinal playoff series. That is the only game on the hardwood tonight, and it is early on. Knicks with a 1-point lead.
Number 1.
At Madison Square Garden.
Number 1.
And number 1, we have our NBA MVP. It is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. He is the 9th player ever to win the award 3 or more times.
Yeah, so we've got what? I mean, it's I think Jabbar, Jordan, Moses Malone.
Malone's got 3.
Malone's got 3. Bird's got 3.
Well, we'll talk about it next. We got the whole list. I got one other note.
Rarefied air. How about that?
Yeah, already. And he's not even 30, is he?
No, but he'll never get another one. It's weird the way we do MVPs is you go on this run and then there's a whole nother group of players. I'll bet you he never sniffs another one.
Sports Illustrated reporting teams are monitoring Chauncey Billups' situation in Portland. That if he and the Blazers split, they report he would quickly become a candidate for other jobs.
Buy that?
Not really.
That seems.
I mean, he may be mildly intriguing, but
that seems an awful lot like being leaked from the Billups camp.
Well, there's not a lot of good coaches out there.
Well, but is he is he a
think,
good coach?
I think you could make the case.
How?
Yes. Well, he hasn't had any good players.
No.
They have shown signs of some good basketball. I think it's just about what he's teaching. Maybe I don't know. It's not me that thinks that, but I could see somebody being like, "Hey, he's a good up and coming young coach, and he wants to get out of there because he wants to win."
Yeah,
he came there to coach Dame, not all these chuckle butts.
Well, and next year too for him, because remember he said he thought that the team could compete this year, and next year, like he's ready to have the team take a leap. But in all honesty, next year again, the assignment should be to lose again because next year's draft is supposedly a generational draft.
Yeah, and that may be why he wants out of there.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are only 3 openings right now in the NBA for head coach: Lakers, Wizards, and Hornets.
Well, I can't imagine he's getting the Laker job. And would you want one of the other 2 jobs?
No.
Those are just.
Well, I wouldn't want the Blazer job either, but
I'd rather have the Blazer job.
Victorico's Mexican food is the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victoricos.com. There's your Hot 5 at 5. MVP talk next on The Fan.
What's your opinion?
It's thick, it's meaty.
know what this means. All I want to do is do my zoom, 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 and a boom, boom.
I'm assuming he's talking about, well, the video is Rump Shaker for the song, so I'm assuming that he's talking about doing it.
Okay, so the zoom, zoom, zoom.
And a boom, boom, I don't know.
Want to zoom, zoom, and you boom, boom.
I'm assuming there's some, it's about clapping some cheeks, maybe?
That's wreck and effect for you.
All right. I'm sorry, what?
Wreck and effect?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rump Shaker. I remember this music video well. Like, 8th grade me thought this was the best thing ever.
They played this at the roller rink when I was growing up.
Yeah, old Golden Skate in Vancouver, Washington was
We
mine.
had a Golden Skate. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Chain? I don't know.
It's where I learned to smoke weed, by the way. Might have been, yeah, I mean, the Golden State was the first for a lot of things. You know, it was like, they would have like skate parties there, and no one cared what went down at the Golden Skate. You probably got the weed from the guy handing out the roller skates.
We too had a popular skating rink that everybody went to, and I could never get over how gross it was.
Yes, it's disgusting.
Skating rinks are pretty gross.
Disgusting.
Do they even exist anymore?
I don't know.
It's a little bit like bowling alleys,
well,
right?
there's one at Oaks Park, right? They say all the hots go out there.
Do they?
Is that right?
Well, they have a roller derby like rink where the is it the Rose
City Rollers?
Yeah, but that's like a I don't know.
Well, they're a
that's,
team.
Yeah, I don't think that's a roller rink that like anyone can just go do, right?
No, that's like there's a track. It's like a
it's like a circle, an oval thing.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Roller skating used to be a thing. I think,
big thing.
I think like growing up, you didn't have anything else to do. Like video games were just kind of coming out, and like you had like cable had just been invented. Yeah, it's like what else you do? You're roller skating. It's like back in the day when someone said that they played jacks or something, like kick the can. We moved on to better things.
I wonder if those things ever made any money.
I don't think so.
If I think about mine, like all the crappy ass, skates that they would buy, and then the only thing else they had there besides they had a good sound system, right?
Yeah,
music, but they would just have crappy like ballpark nachos.
Pretty much. Just like the worst
and popcorn.
The worst of the worst.
Ours had some pretty good arcade games.
Yeah. I don't
couple good pinball machines and like I don't know, one that you can like, ride on like a the first person driver ones where you can get on like a motorcycle or something like that.
It does appear, by the way, that the only place to roller skate in the Portland area is indeed Oaks Park.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Only one left.
Yeah, they have Glow Skate, Preschool Play and Skate, and Saturday Kids Morning Skate.
Now, let's say you live in a good sized city like Portland.
Yeah.
And I say to you, hey,
let's start.
Why are you laughing?
Let's start a roller rink business.
Yeah. Well, you would never want to do that. Just, I mean, I don't think that's a good business model. Okay,
No,
let's
it is
just
not.
let's just call a spade a spade.
Can't.
However, if I say let's say you move to Nashville.
Yeah.
And in Nashville, you realize there is not a skating rink. It does not exist.
Yeah.
Would you jump into the skate business?
Under no circumstance. Your whole business is
throw one up for people?
Think about this. Your whole your business is predicated on having to have a massive space, right? So that alone, your rent's going to be
Ours
huge.
wasn't very big.
It's still you still have to.
You want to create the intimacy with the kids, like.
So your whole business model is you have to get a bunch of people to come do something that doesn't cost very much, like $10. At Oaks Parks, it was 12 with skate rentals. And you're trying to get people that don't know how to skate, that have never skated, to want to come skate in masses. I can't think of a worse idea. I'd rather start a VCR repair business.
What?
Than a
Get out.
Than a roller rink.
That's absurd.
No, you just need like a bang-up sales professional who can go and try to sell corporate events to like every company in the Portland area.
You got to make it cool again,
That's
man.
the only way. Like, you're not getting regulars to like sign up for memberships.
No one can skate around
I know.
here. How are you?
So you gotta like make your business off of like one-offs who want to come and have a luncheon or something.
Who want to come and fall and break their ass?
I think more people can skate than you.
You think? I want an informal text poll right now. How many people listening to this show can roller skate? And I'm not saying get on one and not fall for 18 seconds. I'm saying make at least one lap,
glide
without holding on to the railing and confident that you aren't going to split your ass again. I want to know.
Does inline skating count, or does it have to be roller skating?
Well, I think if you can inline skate, you can
probably
probably just
I don't know.
throw roller skates on.
I've only ever rollerbladed as a youth. Never did the 2x2s.
I think that translates. I don't know
Maybe
how.
it does. I just wouldn't know.
I don't know how that
No,
would
no.
not translate.
I know one translates to. I mean, it's ice skating and rollerblading. I think that's closer maybe than roller skating, because one, you got the thin blade, the other one you have the four wheels. I don't know. I have not roller skated since I was probably middle school, 7th grade, like 12 years old last time I did it. If you tried to put me on roller skates right now, I guarantee that's a broken clavicle bare minimum. So you want me to pay to go break my collarbone? No, I'm good.
I think I might do it. I'm going to reinvent it. Have some cool stuff in there, like maybe a stripper pole or something.
There you go. Well, like
for the kids.
I guess Usher roller skates at all his performances. He did at the Super Bowl. My gal went and saw him, and he does a whole set. He does like 4 or 5 songs in a row where the whole thing's on roller skates. Usher loves roller skating.
A lot of people so far informally texting in saying that they do roller skate.
They can roller skate?
Well, because I think a lot of our listeners are of your and I's age or older, and we all grew up roller skating.
But here's the thing. Again, I at one point could roller skate when I was 12.
You don't think you could roller skate now?
No.
Really?
No.
Were you a decent roller skater?
I was okay. But again, I was 12.
It's not like riding a bike?
I don't think so. You're telling me right now something that you did at 12 years old that all of a sudden you just pick up, you haven't done in 30 years, and you're like, I got this. Dude, I would fall and break something. Guaranteed. There's no way you could pay me to get on roller skates.
When I was in college, our fraternity rented out a roller rink to do a social function with a sorority, and 3 people knocked teeth out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, granted, there was a lot of booze involved beforehand that probably didn't help.
It's the same thing. Like if you go ice skating with people that haven't gone ice skating before or haven't done it in years, get ready for the concussion, because when you fall, it's like, oh, I don't want to fall on my butt. No, your head is going to bounce off that ice. I see it happen. My kids all grew up ice skating at the Mountain View Ice Arena, which I believe is gone now in Vancouver. Or if it's there, they've I think half of it's a church now. They literally had to sell off half their building to a church. So you can skate and then walk over for some Sunday services. And my daughter used to tell me all the time, because she worked there, how many people, like she could just tell when she saw like the middle-aged dude walking in there, she's like, oh yeah, you're leaving hurt. Guarantees someone's bouncing that head off the ice.
Over Christmas in San Diego, we were down there, and our nieces wanted to go ice skating, and I refused to go with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I went with them, but I said, I'm not getting on the ice. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a beer. I'll be over here.
That's me too.
Cheering you on.
Yeah. It's especially too if you haven't done it in a while, dude, your ankles, you're going to feel it the next day.
See, I can't ice skate. I've never ice skated.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to try now.
Don't start now.
No.
Like when someone tries to get me to go skiing, I'm like, yeah, it's that ship has sailed, my man. You had to catch me 30 years ago.
Here's a guy who says, went to the rink a few years ago with the kids, and the same guy that's at every rink was there. The guy going backwards.
Yeah.
Total douche.
Yeah.
We'll do a shoot the duck for you, too.
That dude was feeling it, too.
Might have a ponytail.
You know who that guy is? Jason Swigard.
100% guaranteed at some point in his life, Swigard dominated the roller rink.
He might have even had a choreographed dance with someone at some
Would
point.
shock me. He's doing the roller skate boogie. You know, like Air Supply came on or whatever, and he's like, this is my jam. Get out here.
All right, well, we've torched another segment for you guys. Ice skating talk. Or, I mean, roller skating talk. Coming up next, we will talk about MVPs and Nikola Jokic. It's 5:29. Here's Buck. want you all to close your eye. Well, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But I want you to picture something. I'm going to lay out here. We've got My Boogie Shoes on here. KC and the Sunshine Band. First of all, I think that's Swag's like favorite band. And second, I want you to just picture him with his flowing hair, backwards roller skating to this.
Just feeling it. Hips are swaying.
Hold on, everybody.
Well, and of course, this was featured in Boogie Nights, which the last time I thought about roller skating was Roller Girl.
Was it the opening scene, that consecutive shot? Did they do that one? I mean, I know this was in Boogie Nights, but the Roller Girl opening, I feel like that's when they played this one. Is that right?
I think they've played this multiple times, but there's a scene in the middle where they do like a big montage, and I know they played this, but they may have played at the beginning too.
Well, I did look up, not to belabor this, but it's that time of year, so bear with us. I did look up roller skating participation stats.
It's over!
This is what has piqued my interest today.
It happens. We go down rabbit holes. Is it better than being like 9 times, the multiple MVPs and Mount Rushmore?
We'll get to that.
Let's get to the important stuff now.
This
Roller skating.
how many millions of... So this is just U.S. numbers, and it says the number of U.S. citizens aged 6 and above that participated in roller skating in 2022, so that's the latest they've got this,
sure,
is 11.3 million people.
Okay. So
that's pretty good.
It's a good chunk.
This also says, now another article talks about how the pandemic led to sort of a revival.
Of roller skating?
Of roller skating, yeah.
Boy, that pandemic was a hell of a thing.
It changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it did.
And I guess so much so that it led to a global shortage of skates. They couldn't get skates.
What?
To your local rink.
How is it?
Here's the situation.
I thought we weren't allowed to gather anything like indoors. How are we allowed to roller skate?
Yeah, I
was getting chastised for riding my bike outside, but I could roller skate inside?
Well, no, I think maybe post-pandemic, when people finally were coming out of hibernation, they wanted to do some things, get back into the swing of, I don't know,
roller
something. Well, I guess apparently, according to this article, it's very big in the black community.
Really?
And a lot of it is dictated by what kind of music they play.
Huh.
So if they play R&B and rap,
yeah,
it draws a lot of the black community in, and they roller skate, and then they're Swigard. Just backwards roller skating.
Mike in Ridgefield, longtime P1, and really the real he's a master of our chronicles. That man knows everything about the show. He just texted in that the WFTDA Global Roller Derby Championships are coming to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum this year, November 1st through the 3rd. You get your tickets now.
That's roller derby.
That's roller derby.
That's different.
Who knew that there was a WFTDA championship?
Yeah, that's a whole league and everything.
I always thought that roller. Am I wrong again?
Yes.
We're going down a rabbit hole. I remember when they did roller derby back in the day. They used to show it like on ESPN. Like
back in the day. What do you mean?
Like in the 80s. They would show these roller derby things. There was like a league. I thought it was like the WWE. I thought it was all scripted and fake.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember roller derby where they would have a helmet. There was like 4 teams, and there was like a Globetrotters, and then there was like the generals. There was always one team that won.
Men or women?
Both. They had like mixed teams. And you would wear a little helmet, and whoever had the helmet, however many times they made it around the rink, they would score. And they would this would run like on ESPN, but it was like WWE. It was like scripted. It was like they were doing like bits, like the Harlem Globetrotters. You don't remember that at all?
I don't.
Yeah, there was roller derby that used to play on ESPN.
Yeah, my first inclination.
It's like WWE-ish, kind of. They had characters.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this.
So like when I see this like global roller derby championships, that's not real. Like the Rose City Rollers, that's not a real competition, right? That's like a skit. Like it's
no.
That's
not
like WWE.
I don't think so. I think that's a real sport.
But don't people still play parts? Like, aren't there still heels and stuff like that? Like,
I think they were doing bits. I swear.
Boy, you're blowing my mind.
The text line will know.
Like if you go to YouTube and you look up like 1970s or 80s roller derby, you will see what I'm talking about. It was clearly, I mean, obviously they could skate and they were talented, but it was clearly scripted where it was like, the dude, like the guy would wind up trying to give a patented elbow, and another dude would like slide underneath his legs and then pop up and then like taunt him and then keep skating. It was scripted, but under the guise of roller derby.
I kind of remember what you're talking about.
Right?
I don't know if it was the same thing or not, but yeah, this seems familiar to me.
Yes.
I like that our texter's pointing out some of my favorite Instagram follows are Hots on roller skates.
Now I got to start looking because I love Roller Girl.
Hey, I think the Hots
I want to start looking up Hots on roller skates.
While you were away, somebody talked about who were we talking about? Somebody was single and looking to mingle. And one of the texters was like, dude, here's where you got to go. You got to go to Oaks Park. All the Hots like to skate.
Wow.
They're all over there. And by the way, I am on the Rose City Rollers website, rosecityrollers.com.
Yeah.
And they called them bouts.
Yeah.
At the hangar at Oaks Park, and they say that all of their games are real. Their games and plays are real.
Okay. But see, they
follow. Yeah, they had to say that, but they follow the WFTDA rules.
Okay.
Developed for safety and competitive sport play.
Okay, but they have to point that out because the roller derby that I grew up with, like in the 70s and 80s, was scripted. It was WWE. Yes. People had talent, but there was a pre-designed winner and loser, and they were doing bits. But the Rose City Roll, now some Rose City Roller is going to throw an elbow at me for insinuating that I'm fake.
I hope they do, because they played in our golf tournament one year.
Yeah, they party.
Dude, those I would not mess with any of them.
No.
They were badass.
Nope. So I'm just...
So watch out, dude.
That's why I wasn't... I just asked, are they actually trying to win those, or are they scripted?
And by the way, their team name...
Mm-hmm.
Wheels of Justice.
The Wheels of Justice.
So Jokic wins the MVP. He is now the 9th player to win 3 or more. Joining, can you name them all?
I think I can get them all.
They're all,
yeah, so you got...
They're all bigwigs.
Yeah, so you got Wilt.
He has 4.
Kareem has the most.
He has 6.
And then Moses Malone.
He has 3.
Magic.
3.
Bird.
3.
Jordan.
5.
Jokic, obviously.
3.
Who am I missing here? Did I say LeBron?
He has 4.
So I'm missing 1.
You're missing 1.
Who am I missing? Did I already say Bird?
You did.
Who am I missing? I'm missing 1.
He has 5.
He's got 5. Oh, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. And those are your 9.
Yeah. And this is I'm telling you, look through the history of the MVP. It's weird. I'm telling you, it goes in phases. Like there's very few guys like LeBron that win and then take breaks and come back and win again.
Yeah.
We get through these things where it's like, okay, like Giannis emerges and we're like, oh my God, Giannis is the best player in the NBA. And he won, I think, back to back. Did he not?
Yes.
Yeah. So we give Giannis his 2, and then it's like, well, we've seen Giannis.
And I think Curry went back to back, and I think Durant went back to back.
Yeah, Curry went back to back. I don't remember Durant doing it.
Well, LeBron's are all back to, well, they're not all 4 in a row, but he had 2 back to back.
2 separate back to backs.
2 separate back to backs, yes.
Yeah.
For his 4.
So it's like once we've given you your title, Nash won back to back, which a lot of people think is ridiculous, but
Duncan won back to back.
Yeah. And once we've given you yours,
yeah, we get tired of you.
Then we're tired of you.
It's like anoint the next guy.
Yeah, we've seen it. Now we're gonna move on. Like Westbrook, we gave Westbrook 1, and then we're like, all right, dude, you'll never sniff another one. And Jokic, the only reason Jokic didn't win 4 in a row is because people were like, well, he already won 2, and I don't want to give him 3 because then that puts him in this rarefied air. So they gave Embiid 1. Embiid will never sniff another one, and we'll move on. So that is my prediction. Jokic will never come close to winning another MVP because now we've got, like, if Tatum wins an MVP or wins a championship this year, mark it. Tatum will be the MVP next year.
Or Doncic.
Or
Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards, SGA with Oklahoma City, he's going to win one eventually. Wemby, by the way, within 3 years, Wemby will win one.
I'm going to call you on SGA. I don't think he ever wins an MVP.
He's
got to win titles. I bet he has to win a title before. I bet you Chet becomes an MVP before SGA.
Yeah, there's a new group that's coming through here that's going to start ticking theirs off, and
it's probably Edwards. It's whoever goes furthest.
Yeah. Right?
Whoever over these next handful of wins we got to go all the way into June. So the next 2 months, we're going to be watching the NBA all the way to the NBA Finals. Whichever star, Edwards, Doncic, hell, maybe even a Brunson type or
there you go,
or Tatum, whoever it is that leads his team the farthest is most impressive to us. Right now, it's Edwards, but that could change.
Yep.
They're gonna be the next MVP. Run.
And it's just
I'm with you on that.
We'll have the changing of the guard. And there's another, like, you brought up another one there. If Julius Randle comes back next year and the Knicks, have some room and they go on a deep run and they end up being the number 1 seed, Brunson could win one. I mean, like, there's
being in New York and his kind of vibe and being the number 1 seed. Yeah.
Yep.
And you're right, Wemby's. I mean, he's gonna have his day soon.
Yep. He's coming. I mean, there's some people
Scoot
that thought
Henderson.
there's some people that thought that Wemby should have been the defensive player of the year. He'll win defensive player of the year before he wins MVP, but Wemby's going to get his. And so this is just kind of the way it works, because you can make the argument that LeBron for 8 years in a row should have won it.
Totally.
He was the best. And it's just very rarely. I know Bird won 3 in a row. Is any and I know like Russell and Jabbar. I'm talking more modern. Has anyone won? Is Bird the last guy to win 3 in a row?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was in what, 80, I don't know, 85-ish, somewhere that he went on that run?
Yeah, do you remember, here's a good MVP trivia question. LeBron won 4.
Mm-hmm.
He won 2, then somebody won 1, and then he won 2 more. So he very could have easily won 5 in a row. Do you remember the guy who disrupted LeBron's MVP streak?
Maybe Durant?
Derrick Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I do. I remember Derrick Rose winning the MVP, but I don't remember him splitting the LeBron.
That was the LeBron run.
Yeah, and Derrick Rose is great, but do we really think Derrick Rose was a better player than LeBron James?
It's like when Jeff Kent and Terry Pendleton won MVPs when Barry Bonds was in his prime.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that Kobe and Shaq both have 1. So you're telling me Steve Nash... You're telling me Steve Nash has as many MVPs as Kobe and Shaq together? I mean, come on.
The Shaq thing was Kobe. That's criminal. It seems like now to look back on that, but Shaq, it was always just his style of game. A lot of people didn't give him enough credit because of he would just bully people.
Yeah, but it's silly when and Dirk's was kind of like. Eventually, people were like, "Well, let's give Dirk one." That was you've been good for so long and underappreciated, so it's your time. You're never going to come close to winning another one, but it's your time. I think Iverson had that, Harden had it, where we do these weird like one-offs where, you're the MVP, but no one thinks you're the best player in the NBA. Like no one thought that Steve Nash or James Harden or Dirk or Westbrook, no one thought that was the best player in the NBA. Nobody. And yet they all won MVPs.
Yeah, 3 players have won 3 in a row. Bird was the last to do it in 1984, 85, and 86. Not even Kareem won 3 in a row.
Really? Kareem didn't win 3, huh?
Well, he won 6.
Yeah, he won 6.
But he never won 3 in a row.
That surprises me.
He was interrupted by Dave Cowens and Bob McAdoo, and then Walton and Malone before he got his last one. The other 2 guys to win 3 in a row, Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s and Bill Russell, 61, 62, and 63.
That makes sense. And look at there was like 8 teams in the league back then, too. A little easier to win them back then.
All right. There's MVP talk. We will discuss J.J. Redick and Colin Cowherd next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics, brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Oh, I thought. Do you have audio here for
No,
this?
it's just a story.
Oh, yeah. Well, as we told you in the Hot 5 at 5, I keep up on the hot golf Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. Here is somebody who texts into the program who says, I just wanted to let you fellas know that I went last night.
I love this.
I went last night.
No.
For the adult skate 18 and over. And it was rad.
Said you must sign a waiver. That's when I knew I was scared.
Secondly, that's when I knew I was screwed.
Oh, screwed. Said secondly, they do have safety monitors on the hardwood, which was beneficial.
They've always had that.
Yeah, he said
Haven't they? They pay kids.
Yeah,
to
they pay kids
be
to
out
go
there to
around
help
now.
other little S-head kids get up when they fall and
Says
stuff.
he has big time hip and ass bruises, but I'm telling you, there was a lot of hot chicks there doing a lot of dancing.
Yeah,
Scary fun for this 45-year-old.
Yeah, he said a lot of hot chicks. There was a lot of dancing. It is fun. He's a 45-year-old dude.
Look, I'll tell you what.
He hadn't laced them up since 1996, and he just decides to go skating?
Well, he heard there were hots. Here's the deal. If we're going to start the ROP rank, there's one thing that we need to do more than anything else. You know what we invest in? Hot chicks. Because if you get hots.
For sure.
If we get a group of hots, and that's where we advertise, hey, come skate with our hots. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that dumbass dudes won't do, no matter how dangerous or unfun it's going to be for them, if there's hots there.
Well, I think that my market may not even be those guys. Like, look, they'll show up. They're easy because if the hots are there, then they'll be there. But yeah. I want it to be a fun environment for the hots. Like, because if the hots love it,
yeah,
dude.
Well, here's the thing.
It's on.
Hots are in for free. That's what it is. We grandfather them in.
Well, I think it's all about marketing. If I open my rink, I'm going to market the hell. I am going to make it cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to have dope tunes, and it's going to have hots. Shirts optional. Let's go.
Well, I think that you got to do it like.
Well, okay, you can't have that.
You got to do it with like an '80s theme. You got to make it like the Max from Saved by the Bell. Lean into the '80s nights.
I'm going to show you my boobs.
That'd work.
And
by the way, I got a great story about that in St. Lucia for the club.
Boobies?
Oh, not just boobies. There was snorkeling got very, very interesting. There was something in the water.
Yeah.
Or something in the water that was a bit unusual that a lot of people got to take a look at.
All right. Well, should we table JJ Redick, Colin Cowherd backwards hat talk until tomorrow?
Probably. I don't know if we have time.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to unpack there, or maybe there isn't. I don't know. Colin doesn't like that JJ Redick had his hat on backwards.
There is
it was his podcast with LeBron.
There is nothing that is an older man take than Colin hating backwards hat.
Yeah, it's very old man for sure.
It is the most. Find me another old man take that is as dusty and creaky as you can't be a leader. You can't be someone that I put in charge if your hat's on backwards.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those. See, this is why we don't need to talk about this now. We'll need to talk about this tomorrow. I think that in old man's head, and I mean old man, I picture like 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
Wearing his sensible slacks, and his New Balance.
I was thinking Skechers maybe.
Yeah, that dude, in his head, there are a lot of things that fall into that category for them. Now, they may not always say it, but it's all the traditional things, like
you piece of garbage,
like beards.
Yeah.
Or backwards hats, or shirt untucked. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
On the golf course, more than you know, there is somebody who scoffs when you have there's some old man who looks at you and goes, God, today, what is happening right now? That guy's out there when he sees your shirt untucked.
Yeah. The hat on backwards is
That's another one.
It is just such a weird, it's such a weird stance to take. Like your hat on back, what? Although I will say, like Redick's not that old. He's like, what, mid-30s? Probably like 35, 36, something like that. I don't think it's like, because we're both in our mid-40s. Like, sometimes if you put your hat on
39.
backwards.
I'm late 40s, by the way.
You're late 40? Yeah, late 40s.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the nod to the mid-40s, but I'm 48.
See, but I don't think it's weird. Like, if your hat's on backwards, I don't blink twice about it. You don't do it very often, but occasionally you do.
I will sometimes.
I don't think it looks weird. I will say that if I saw a 60-year-old man with his hat on backwards, I'm not going to say it would look bad, but it would catch my attention. I'd be like, wow, that guy's got that's an old man with his hat on backwards. I would think that's a little weird.
How old's the drummer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Oh, Chad Smith.
He always has his hat on backwards.
Always. I bet he's 60 at least.
62.
But it kind of works because it's...
Well, you're used to it because he's
you're
always...
used to it. Same thing with Griffey, right? Griffey's in his 50s, late 50s.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It obviously doesn't mean anything if you have your hat on backwards. But
if you're calling, it means you can't be a head coach in the NBA.
Well, but I do think that there are old men that think that. Like, they're like, well, you're immature. Who does that? I would never do that. And I was thinking about this today. I was like, I do sometimes wear my hat backwards. It is not very often, but sometimes I will, and I don't really know why I do that.
Yeah,
it's like, why am I throwing this on backwards right now?
It's like something to do. You just flip it around because it's there.
Yeah, it just feels like it's the right time to flip it around.
Well, it's like, but we had this conversation today a little bit about age appropriateness. When I went down, when we went down to the island there, I have 2 pairs of swim trunks that I wear, and they're both from Maui. They're the Maui built. It's a little company there. You can only buy them when they're in Maui, but they are longer board shorts, right? They go down to your knees or past your knees.
Yeah, those are out.
And I'll tell you what, I was walking around and I did not feel age appropriate. I felt so very, it was a mix between I either felt very broy or I was the old man in cargo shorts.
Need to tighten up that inseam, huh?
And instantly I was like, I need to buy new swim trunks. Yeah. I turned to my lady and she was like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, you do.
I had that realization. I was like, this no longer works. It worked 10, 15 years ago when I bought them, not now.
Did somebody come up to you and say, hey, are you one of the Fab Five?
I felt that a little bit. I did.
They didn't know where California was. Do you think they know where Michigan was?
Well,
I felt I was not age appropriate with those. I have moved on. I'm going to toss those and buy some more sensible swim trunks.
Yeah, but
those don't work.
But when you talk age appropriate, you can't go for the young bro shorts.
No,
because those things are running tight.
The young bros, especially the Europeans, they were going like 5-inch, 5-inch inseams and tight.
Yeah,
tight.
Yeah,
age appropriate.
Yeah, I'm out on those, but it is a thing.
Yeah,
age appropriate. But the backwards hat. It's just, you know what? I don't know.
This is flummoxed you, huh?
Well, I just think it is such an old man thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think there's a lot of things like that old people look at. Like, do you remember the woman I told you about when I used to do TV? And I was in the arena.
Yeah.
The Blazer game.
Yeah, it's where the broadcast is underneath.
And she came up to me. She was this old lady, and she came up to me and she goes, "I cannot believe you don't dye your beard."
Really?
Yeah. She was like, "I am like old people think this way."
Shots fired, huh?
Well, to her it was so absurd that you would not. You're on TV. Why would you show salt and pepper?
Wow.
But that old people. I just think old people have a ton of these.
Yeah.
And apparently, Colin Cowherd is old now.
Remember when everyone got all their shorts in a bunch because Obama wore a tan suit? Like that sort of thing. Like when you get into formal wear, if you don't wear the right color, if it's not a navy or a dark or what, it's crazy.
It's getting way better, but I used to get a lot with my tattoos. And I still get some of it in some
That's another one.
arenas.
He'll never be able to get rid of those.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's not getting a good job with those.
Yeah, I get that. But you're seeing more and more successful people with them. And so it's getting better, but I have a lot. And that there are definitely some people that don't like it. They think it looks I've been asked to why don't I cover them up? And I'm like,
because I wanted them here.
That's a little it's like 90 degrees in the summer. I'm like, yeah, I'm not wearing a long sleeve shirt, but yeah, that's one. I guarantee that there are plenty of old people that think that tattoos, because a lot of people have them now. They think that is still because back in the day, tattoos meant you were either coming back from the war or you were in a biker gang. And now it just means that you're like a vegan chef.
Well, yeah.
So true.
Or a random hipster.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like It's just that there was a time when a backwards hat was really not a good look for adults.
Yeah.
For adults thought that you should not wear your hat on back. Well, if you still think that, you just haven't evolved. But Colin is old enough. That is from the time where that is not acceptable.
And he's not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, old people have a ton of these. The shirt untucked is a big one. There's a texter that says, on your hat backwards topic, there are executive recruiters that will not interview anyone that says they have a golf handicap under 18.
Really?
How about that?
Does that just mean because they spend too much time?
Well, yeah, they're going to be out. They're going to be golfing all the time. That's
Huh.
discrimination, but
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
F you. But
I've always thought that about like head coaches. I'm like, you should not be that good of a golfer.
that was the thing. I went to Kansas. You know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did.
Rock
Chalk.
chalk. Well, I was there and worked in the athletic department with Roy Williams, and Roy Williams was a good golfer. Roy was a low handicap player, who loves golf, and that trust me, dude, that was a thing when he was not winning championships.
Didn't like it.
Old Maud would call up our sports information office and be like, "Well, maybe you could stop Roy from playing so much golf, and he'd win us a title."
On the flip side of that, people were flummoxed, like donors were flummoxed when Chip Kelly got here and didn't play golf the way Bilotti did. They're like, he's not going to come around and like hang out with us. And Chip's like, you want me doing that? No, I'm here to coach the football
That's
team.
a president thing. Whenever the president, whoever it is, plays golf while there's something going on, we love to freak out about it. There's a crisis in the Middle East, and this a-hole's playing golf. You're like, oh my God. I love this one too. I'm 40 every time I flip my hat backwards. My 16-year-old says, well, Dad must be drunk.
Right. Yeah, like the reasons why we flip our hat backwards,
Yeah.
that needs to be explored. Because I don't
Boredom.
really know why we do it.
Yeah, I don't wear a lot of hats, but occasionally when I
You do? And what is the reasoning for doing it?
God,
Like there really isn't.
There really isn't.
It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn this around.
I couldn't tell you because again,
Very weird.
I don't wear a lot of them, but occasionally, yeah, for whatever. I'm gonna think about that next time I wear one and I find myself turning it around. I'm gonna be like, why am I doing that?
I don't think it's a good answer. I've thought about this. Every time I turn it around, I'm like, why am I doing that? I don't know. It
does defeat the purpose of the hat to keep the sun out of your eyes.
Exactly.
You know.
Worst or best commencement speech ever. Next on The Fan.
Auto accident? Need a loaner today?
they are thinking when they turn their hat around.
Yeah.
Here is a guy who is a carpenter. He says,
It's my favorite one.
I'm a carpenter. I wear a hat every day, and today I turned my hat backwards when I had to buckle down. It's like shifting gears.
Lincoln Hawk style, right? They turn the switch, you flip it around. And there is an element to that,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes,
you flip it around, that means, hey, we're done. Like, no, the laser focus. The Bill's not getting in my way. We got some business to attend
What about
to.
arm wrestling? You have to flip it around.
That's right.
You know what I realized the time that I'll do it? If I have had a couple bad tee shots on the golf course, I'll flip it around for the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
I've flipped it around on the golf course before because if it's raining, if it rains hard enough, the water starts dripping from the bill of your cap while you're putting.
Rory did that once. On he flipped
and
his hat
I'm sure
around backwards.
old people all over the country were
Clutched
calling
their
the
pearls.
USGA.
This is outrageous.
Well, Brooks Koepka has said that many times. It's the only. I mean, he's kind of a douchebag, but I totally agree with him on this. He goes, dude, golf is too stuffy. He's like, if I want to show up to my country club with my hat on backwards and my shirt untucked and my flip-flops to just chip and putt, I should be allowed to do that. And I think he's so right about that. But boy, try that at your local country club and see how many white hairs get pissed.
Yeah, my buddies, I'll hang out with my buddy who is a member at one, and they are, and it says everywhere, wherever you walk on that place, it says dress code strictly enforced. In the clubhouse, on the course, and yes, the hat backwards, that ain't flying.
Look, I get
and you better be tucked in, you son of a bitch.
I get the no denim thing, but the tuck in.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't.
Well, and look, a lot of rotund people should not be tucking. They should be allowed to.
That's right.
That's not a good look, John Daly.
Yeah.
The other one too is when we're on the golf course, I often get asked about this. I don't wear a hat when I golf ever, and people think that's very, very weird. But
I used to be that way. I used to not be able to.
Well,
It bothered
Jack
me
and Arnie,
peripherally.
Jack and Arnie never wore hats.
No, and I don't wear them and that's the other one too. We were talking that once I went bald, like really bald, and I shave it, I don't like the way hats feel on my head for the most part. They just, I don't know, it's different. You know, sometimes your hat gets irritated on your forehead. Imagine that, but the entire length of your head. And so it's not one of those things. Then it gets sweaty and kind of grimy and gross. And so you would think as a bald man that I'd wear a hat to cover up, but I just find myself never wearing them other than stocking caps. Stocking caps, fantastic. Wear those all the time.
Well, but you can't really turn that on backwards.
No, you can't.
A couple of our listeners, several of them saying that they just think some hats look better backwards.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely a style thing.
Yeah. Maybe the dad hat backwards is a little better looking than forwards.
Well, and some people do. Some people look cool, and other people look like look like a bit of a doucher.
It's a bit like not an ascot, but a fedora.
Yeah.
Some people can pull off the fedora, some people can't.
Very few can pull off the fedora.
But the ones that do look badass, and
They
that's,
look awesome,
and
yeah.
that's why you think you're like, well, I'm going to get one of those. Look how cool that guy looks. Like Griffey Jr. is the one that, to me, that made the backwards hat cool.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, when Griffey wears it, is 56 or however old he is.
Still fine because it was his thing.
Yeah, he looks
By the
great.
way, I want to read a text. This was to my personal phone, and it's from a blast from the past here at 1080 The Fan. Timmy the Man Monis has reached out.
I love Timmy Monis.
Timmy Monis. He was at the Fan for several years, did updates and producing and stuff. Really funny guy. He's still listening to our program.
Wow.
And he texted me on this topic. He said, I think the convo is really funny because I remember back in the day when Colin used to say to people to relax that they were old because Griffey was wearing his hat backwards. He was the exact opposite of what he's talking about now.
Wow.
And I don't remember that, but Monis was the producer for that show for some time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's funny that he remembers that.
Well, we all change, and do you have something?
I just think when Colin. By the way, this should be said. When Colin is saying these things, he's a smart dude. He knows he's getting you riled up. That's his whole point is to get.
It's working. We're talking about it for 20 minutes.
Well, a lot of people have been. It's been making the rounds on social media. He knows what he's doing with it.
He was trending on Twitter because of it.
Well, I'm asking, do you have an old man take where if someone's wearing something, you immediately go, you can't help it. It's just like, you just have the old man visceral reaction to it?
If somebody else, no. My old man, I have a lot of old man takes, but my worst one is the loud muffler thing.
Yeah,
it really drives me insane, and I don't understand it, and I think you're a douchebag if you have a muffler that's loud. I am so sorry if you can't afford to get your muffler fixed, or just the motorcycle that's loud or the truck that's shockingly loud, and there's really no it effing drives me insane because like with other people and what they wear, I don't care. That's your expression. That's your I don't care. I try not to be critical of anyone's
sure, but there's
appearance.
Yeah, but there's not something that you see and you just in your mind it just looks ridiculous.
Well, maybe. Yeah, but I don't care that they're wearing.
No, I'm not saying you care, but you go into like I'll have.
Well, I think the baggy look is really like right now. A lot of people are doing like the fashion thing is real baggy. I think it looks stupid. Yeah. But what do I know? I'm no fashionista. I don't care. Wear whatever the hell you want. You're not bothering anyone else. It's your expression. The car thing is shockingly off-putting to me, and I hate it so very much. But there's nothing I can do about it.
I don't know if I hate it, but the one that and it's been going on forever, and I when I was young, I cannot understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand why it looks good. I don't get why people do it. Functionally, I don't understand how it works.
I think I know where you're going here.
I will not, for the life of me, ever understand why people wear their pants below their ass. I don't get how they I don't get how they stay up. It makes no sense to me. None. And I've thought this forever. Where did that?
It is kind of it is kind of a weird thing. Like, how does it work?
Yes.
How does that even work? How do you do that?
Because they cinch the belt tight, and it's just.
Yeah. And then it feels like you're like using you're doing a thigh master type routine to just keep them up while you walk. It's very strange.
That is my Colin Cowherd thing, and not where again, do what you want. I don't care if you sag your pants. Whenever I see someone, I can't help it. My instantaneous thought is why? Like what are you doing? You look like an idiot.
Well, that's a cultural thing, though.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a few of those things that are like circumstantial. Like if I see someone show up to a wedding in jeans, I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Right.
And that happens. It seems like there's one at every so often at a wedding where it's like you don't have slacks, so you just couldn't get any. I don't know.
I have that.
What about jeans on the golf course?
Ooh.
Do you see that and go, oh, dude?
Yeah,
guess it depends where you're playing.
It depends where you're playing. Because I'll play out at Rose City. And you know,
yeah, you'll get some jeans.
You get some jeans. I once
lucky
played,
to get a shirt.
There was years ago. It's not even a course anymore. What's the one that was out in Brush Prairie? God, what was that course? Cedars, out in Vancouver. And I was teeing off in the morning. It towards the end, it got to be really rough. And now I think they tore it down and they built condos. I had a guy come out and play in cowboy jeans, buckle, boots. Just straight,
I remember you said that.
Straight cowboy boots.
Cowboy boy.
And I'll tell you what, he couldn't have been a nicer guy, but it blew my mind. And wherever he was walking on the green, he would leave big heel prints. I was like, that's not going to work on a lot of places. But out there at Cedars, no one gave.
I played out at Quail Valley in Banks, and there was a guy out there I played with once. He was wearing like khaki Dickies, like utility worker type pants, and he had a chain wallet, and he was a stick. He went sub 90.
I love that.
Wait, sub 90?
Yes, he shot like an 86 or an 88, something like that.
All right, well, that's not a
Rob's
stick.
not saying he's good.
For wearing his zip up Santa Cruz hoodie and his Dickies and his chain wallet, I was thinking he was 100 plus.
And this is my other one too that I thought of that I don't judge the pants thing. I just don't get it. I don't understand it, but again, it's a cultural thing. Whatever. The functionality.
It's a look, but not in your culture.
Yes. But the one thing that I will call in, and it does get under my skin, is nice events, weddings, funerals, formal attire. I swear to God, if you show up wearing a team polo shirt, you son of a bitch. What are you doing?
What do you mean?
That's the best thing I went to a funeral for a buddy of mine, and one of the dudes who was speaking, he was standing in front of a congregation giving a eulogy, and the best thing he had was a Dallas Cowboys polo shirt? You've got to be effing kidding me. Stop that.
What is Colorado
What are you
Rockies?
doing?
Yeah, throw on a button up
cowboy
or a button down.
Well, and look,
or just a plain polo. You don't have a navy polo without the star
God
on it?
forbid a sport coat.
God forbid. You thought to yourself, I'm mourning my friend. I know what I'm going to do. Wear this Dallas Cowboys polo shirt. That is the one. Or like we went out on a double date a number of years ago with a friend of it was my gal and her friend, and she was meeting a guy that was like kind of like they were trying to reconnect. They were like high school sweethearts, and they had fallen away, and he moved back into town, and they were reunited, and they wanted to do a double thing. And I thought, okay, this is exciting. Like we went up to I think we were at Ringside, or we might have been at Laurelhurst. Went to a steakhouse, and you figured like you were gonna dress up. This dude showed up, straight thing, just some saggy ass jeans, right? Some beat up sneakers. And then the team polo with like a golf, like lightweight jacket over the top. And I thought, like, you are meeting this girl that you're trying to rekindle a romance from 20 years ago. You're going to a nice steakhouse and you thought to yourself, let's throw on some mom jeans and my Carolina Panthers polo? But then you decide to class it up with your Callaway Zip Stop It. And she was like, because he went to the bathroom and she was like, hey, what do you think? I was like, look, I don't think you want my opinion.
What?
That's his best foot forward?
Unfortunately, it is.
That's my call.
The Callaway pull-up is probably like, wow, I need to class this up a little bit.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
That's my call.
I got one.
Well, it has a collar, so,
Yeah, right. I've got one that it wasn't top of mind until somebody brought it up on the text line, and we've talked about this before, but... Dude, and I try not to be judgy, but I do silently judge. I mean, we all do.
You're very judgy on this one. I've heard it.
Yeah, it's the pajamas at the airport.
Yep. Pajama pants.
God, grow up. What are you, 5? You're getting on an airplane. It used to be the air in the air on the plane. People would dress up.
Yep.
And
Granddaddy dust off his sport coat to go on a flight.
Yes, he would. He'd put on his top hat, and damn it, he was going to look great on that 3-hour flight.
Right.
But that is really off-putting to me.
Yeah.
And again, you just wear whatever you want.
Exactly.
I get the idea of it's a flight, so I want to be comfortable. But when you're walking around in your like flannel plaid pajama pants and your little slippers carrying a pillow, you look like an effing loser. And I mean loser.
Right?
I'm so sorry, but it's
you can't help
true.
it. It's visceral. Yes.
I'm like, how far up your ass is your head? So that one does.
See, I was gonna say everyone's got
gets
one.
me. Yeah,
everyone's got one that they.
But
trigger.
I'm not saying you shouldn't wear that. Like if that's what you want to wear, that's fine. It just says a lot about you.
Well, I'm going a step further. No, it's not okay for you to wear a team polo to a funeral or a wedding, or that should not be the best thing you own. It just shouldn't. It just should. Be better.
Well, I'm really sorry that Dave died, but how about them Cowboys?
Right? Someone asked, was my friend that passed a big Cowboys fan? No, he wasn't.
That's the only way it would be acceptable is if you were doing some tribute to your friend who's deceased.
No, there was no bits being done.
No.
That's what he threw on. And then you just
all right.
No.
God,
no.
Have we just done a 30-minute segment?
I think so.
Come on. Well, it was like 20 because we did about 20 minutes on backwards hats before that.
We got to get caught up here. 6:26 on the Fan.
It's back, and it's sure to
situation where you couldn't, like, let's say you were golfing and you're meeting somebody for dinner and you don't have time to change. Okay, so you're in golf attire.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you've got pants and a golf shirt. That's okay for the restaurant, right? Yeah. Just freaking take off your hat. I mean, seriously.
Unless you're Phil Knight, take it off.
I bet Phil takes his hat off.
I don't know. That's like the crazy, stupid love thing. He goes, are you Steve Jobs? Are you the billionaire owner of Apple Computers? No. Then you have no business wearing New Balance. It's the same thing. Unless you're Phil Knight, the billionaire owner of Nike, don't wear your hat into a nice, like you said,
just take it off.
Like white linen restaurant.
Just take it off.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
And maybe you can go to the bathroom and get your hair right. I mean, it's messy hair looks better than you with this stupid hat on. It looks ridiculous. And another one. How about? And you'll see this on TV now when you watch sports guys. You know, they have kind of toned down. Like I remember when you and I first got into TV. We're that old.
Yeah.
That you had to wear a tie.
Yes.
And it was I always got a lot of flack because I hate wearing ties.
Yeah.
And I would never wear a tie. I would always have a shirt and sport coat and everything.
Pocket square.
And a pocket square. And at times, an ascot.
Yeah, you were a debonair man.
When we did TV. But there were people that hated that I never wore a tie.
Yep.
But now, you look now at these talk shows, none of these guys are wearing ties. And Buck brought up one where if you look at sometimes you get the standing view of them where they're telestrated or something. Mm-hmm. And they are wearing, a lot of these guys wear like sneakers.
Nice
with
sneakers.
Suits.
Yep.
And it's totally fine.
Yep. I do.
And it doesn't even bother me. I'm just saying it's interesting.
It's a big shift, though. It used to be wingtips.
Yeah.
I have embraced it. I have a couple pairs of nice Jordans that I will wear, like the patent leather 11s. I will wear them with suits, and I love that has become acceptable. And partly because of you, I will say I can't tell you the last time I wore a tie. And I used to be a tie guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen
I
anymore.
don't like the tie.
I think it looks more comfortable and natural to go jacket open collar than it is to go no jacket with a tie.
Yeah, 100%. No jacket with a tie, that's right out.
I can't tell you
that's like you're a server at the Olive Garden.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I put one on.
A tie? Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years and years. I mean, a decade plus.
I don't even think you need one really for a wedding or a funeral anymore. No. Well, wedding...
I didn't wear one when I got married.
You did?
Did not wear a tie when I got married.
Okay.
Open collar with a jacket.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to several weddings, and not that I'm in them, but I don't wear them when I go to a wedding. I don't wear them when I go to a funeral.
Yeah,
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't know if I own one.
I have two.
I got rid of most of them.
Well, you got to have the skinny tie now. Like the ties we used to have.
Yeah.
Like those look
that
like...
were used as like a napkin for people back in the day. That was the whole purpose.
Yeah. I just find them too restrictive. I just don't like them. And I think you can look really nice without it.
I'll bet you that if I do have one and I broke it out, I bet you it would seem really old.
Like the old Trump tie?
I'll tell you what. I've said this before. Back in the day when I wore ties...
He made a good tie.
He made a good tie. I liked
China made a good tie.
He did. He just put his name on it. But I liked the Donald Trump ties. I had several of them.
Somebody else texted, you think pajamas at the airport is bad? I'm a middle school teacher. 30% of my students wear that daily, and it drives me insane. Oh, my God.
Because it feels like there's an indication that I haven't done anything to change from my state of waking up out of bed.
Yes. You know what it looks like? It looks like you are in a deep mental health crisis. Honestly, it looks like you cannot get along in the world. Yeah. You have just come out from under your rock for the first time since COVID. Put on a pair of pants.
This from the YouTube chat. My buddy's dad is a multimillionaire. He goes to the grocery store in his pajamas all the time.
Well,
wouldn't it be easier if you just minded your own business?
Oh, shut up, you douchebag. Listen.
By the way, that's the ultimate trump card that people love to play. I'm rich.
So I don't have to.
Look, I don't.
Sure.
Again, the grocery store to me is different than the airport. Look, I've run out to the grocery store looking really ratty before. I get that. It's like, I just want to pick up something really quick. Sure. I'll be fine. Airport, you are in the airport with thousands of other people going somewhere else. Like you're doing a lot of stuff with other people in and around other people. Yes, like, dude, come on.
That's what I'm saying. The old Seinfeld had the bit where Jerry looked at George wearing sweatpants and says, "You know what you're saying with this? I give up."
100%.
Especially now because they make nice like athleisure, like like Lululemon and public.
You can look good and be comfortable.
That's a great point. You can go to the airport in really comfortable clothing and look great.
In fact, I think I almost exclusively travel that way.
You know
now.
what it takes? Just a tinge of effort. A tinge. Sometimes as a human being, you have to try just a little bit.
And you know what? You will feel better. I've read some like different books and people talk about this. You know, it's like those like, hey, you know, tips for success or whatever, right? Like these sorts of books or little articles. And a lot of people will say if you spend a month, no matter what you're doing, and you dress up, leaving the house, I don't care if you're going to the store, put on nicer clothes. Not like a suit, but spend time, and they are saying you will look better, you will feel better,
Yes.
other people will treat you better.
It's a self-esteem thing.
Yes.
Look good, feel good. Has anybody ever heard that phrase?
The Jerry Rice
I
thing,
remember
right?
people saying during COVID that what you should be doing for everyone working from home is get up, shower, and get ready for work the way you would as if you were going into the office, because everyone is running into this wall of lack of productivity because they're still in bed mode.
And by the way, on the teacher front, that is 100% on the parents. To let their kids go out the door like that, because in the parent that we see in the airport dressed like that is probably that's the kid's parent.
Yes. Yeah. It's not that. And
We have to break the cycle.
You got to pick and choose your fights with your kids, but it's not that hard to be like, hey, you know what? I love you. You're not wearing pajama
Dude,
pants to school.
I would die on that hill.
You're not doing it.
It's not happening. Not on my watch, you little bitch. Now get in the car.
You wear something comfortable, but upstairs, let's go. We're not doing that. This is the way it works.
Here's Buck with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk.
there, somebody could constitute that as you are getting in this guy's face.
Sure.
But I think that maybe means something different to you.
Yeah,
but
I
if
get it. Yeah.
but if you confront him,
yes.
What if he stands up and he goes, "What the hell are you going to do about it?" Now remember, you have just boarded the plane, you're with BTJ, and you're on your way to the greatest vacation that you're about to ever have.
Yeah.
That's the hypothetical.
Interesting.
How do you respond?
All right.
Next on The Fan.
It's The Fan on
he's not scrawny. Like,
Yeah.
This guy could hold his own.
Sure.
And he says, "What the hell are you gonna do about it, Baldy?"
I can tell you that the first off that I'd probably do is laugh at him and be like, seriously, dude, we're going to fight on an airplane? I would probably at that point, one of two things. Either I would laugh at him and sit down and be like, dude, we're not going to fight over this. But more than likely, I would just call the stewardess and be like, hey, you might want to check this. And I would double check to that other guy and give him the option. I'm like, hey, this is your seat. We can kick his ass out of here. And I would make that guy in the back actually say, no, I don't want that. This is my seat. Or just because I think I don't think technically you really can switch seats like that.
Yeah.
Like I
could hold his.
You're
feet
supposed
to, the
to
fire.
sit where you're assigned on the manifest.
I would get the stewardess involved, and then to be honest with you, as we were like leaving or whatever, I'd be like, and if you're still sore about it, come find me where we're going, and if you still feel sore about it, you can come find me. I'm not fighting someone on an airplane.
Well, yeah, because as the other part of that is you're going to this great vacation. Like you're not gonna let her rip right there because you're gonna get kicked out of it.
Exactly.
So you have to keep your cool.
You got to keep.
But see, what I thought you were gonna say is I'm gonna wait, and I am going to stew, and then when we deplane, that MFer better watch out.
I'm gonna see you at baggage claim 4, bro.
That's right, dude. And right outside of baggage claim 4, it's free game.
If you still so the old
and he's not stepping outside of the airport because he knows as soon as he's out there he's fair game, and so he's just kind of hiding inside by security.
Do the Kill Bill thing. If you still feel sore about it, 11 hours later when we land, you can come find me. But it's just, like I said, there's just the people go through life, and the world is really set up, and especially nowadays, for people that if they don't care about any sort of social norms, they basically feel like they can do whatever they want because no one's calling these people on it. And more people need to stand up and say no. But people don't do it, and I get it. They don't want to cause confrontation, or they're intimidated by people, and it's bullies. I hate bullies. And in situations like that, that's what that guy is. He's a bully. And he's counting on no one saying something. But yeah, you can't fight someone on an airplane, especially when you're going on vacation.
Yeah. You're smart enough to know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't get involved in these things.
Yeah.
I just don't want to deal with pieces of crap.
And that's what they're counting on.
I know.
A-holes like that are counting on people not calling them on their crap.
I would say there's two different scenarios. One is that I was just watching that.
Yeah.
It's a little different if I was the guy who switched.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I would just let it go.
Yeah.
I would be pissed and maybe try to rectify that. But as far as like getting involved in another person's quarrel, boy, you are looking at the wrong guy.
I wish I was more like that. It's just it's a character flaw that I have.
I land somewhere right in between. I can't hold my tongue, but I'm not really going to do anything.
Huh. That's maybe the worst.
Well, no, I'll say something, but I'm not going to like...
You're just like the peanut gallery. Like, shut up
Oh,
or
yeah,
do
I'll
something.
chirp them. Yeah.
I'll chirp them. All right. We got to go. We got to nothing we wanted to in the club.
But we have a great commencement speech tomorrow.
Yes.
It's an all-time.
Or terrible, depending on how you look at it.
Point of view.
We're back tomorrow, 3 to 7 on The Fan. Good night.